The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. The Minister of Health defending the hospital project, blasting back at former Health Minister Dwight Sands. A judge awards $3.6 million $3.6 million to talk to parents of a brain-damaged child. And Junker groups wary over proposals for a new authority to manage the parades on Bay Street. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahams. It is Monday, July 21st, 2025. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Deandra Cartwright is off today. Also this morning, we are getting a preview of the Marlin Awards, and later in business, it's our special series with the Ministry of Health, Public Health. We are going deep on that global school report that has shocked so many people in the country with its findings. That's all ahead, but first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville says the Bahamian people deserve more than finger-pointing from politicians who did nothing when they had a chance to fix things, as he defended the government's plans to build the $267 million specialty hospital in Western Providence. Darville, responding to a statement released by FNM Chairman Dr. Dwight Sands, a former Minister of Health, who said the government has no credible plan to fix the nation's healthcare crisis. Sands again criticized the government's agreement with the People's Republic of China to finance the hospital, questioning the price tag of the project, while claiming there are no labor protections for Bahamians in the deal. Well, yesterday, Darville said the labor agreement is still being negotiated and called Sands' statement, quote, irresponsible and inaccurate. Sands said the new facility is 3 times the cost of the hospital's expansion proposal left on the table by the Minutes administration. He served as Minister of Health from 2017 to 2020 when he resigned from the post amid controversy. Sands also said the new hospital will not fix the Bahams' healthcare system. Darville said yesterday that protecting jobs for Bahamians is paramount. He said the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Works have made it clear protecting Bahamian jobs remains a priority. He said broader redevelopment plans for PMH are fully accounted for in the government's new loan facility with CIBC as well. A Supreme Court judge has awarded $3.6 million to the family of a child who sustained traumatic brain injuries during birth that have left him in a near vegetative state. Justice Lauren Klein Thursday found that Dr. Gregory Carey was responsible for brain damage that the baby, now 12 years old, suffered due to a lack of oxygen and blood flow to the brain prior to his delivery on August 5th, 2012. Carey, who has delivered more than 1,000 babies during his 30-year practice, denied negligence and blamed genetics for the child's condition. Although the child was born unconscious and had to be revived, Carey asserted that there were no indications that the baby was in distress during delivery. Meanwhile, the consultant gynecologist and obstetrician who ultimately delivered the baby, Dr. Homer Bloomfield, testified that he didn't see any signs that the baby was in distress. Bloomfield said that if he had, he would have proceeded to a cesarean section. You can read more on the case in today's Nassau Guardian. Police are urging residents to be responsible when recording sensitive and or alleged criminal acts and resist the urge to post the videos to social media. On Friday, Assistant Commissioner of Police Zhivargo Dames, who has responsibility for technology and posting sensitive video recording, he said that posting sensitive video recording can cause stress on the families and asked residents to instead share the video with police. Dames also was asked about a recent video shared on social media that depicts a woman in police custody claiming officers denied her request to use the restroom. Dames said he would not speak directly to that video, but he said that it's important to know when these things happen, that there are family members out there, and to be cognizant of that fact. And Missouri Sherman Peter, an esteemed Bahamian diplomat, has passed away. She died on Friday in New York. In a statement on her passing, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs reflected on her remarkable diplomatic and public service career, saying, quote, "We express heartfelt condolences to her family, friends, and colleagues." Over the course of her time as a diplomat, Sherman Peter served in several high-ranking positions, including Consul General at New York, Deputy Permanent Representative to the United Nations, High Commissioner to Canada, and non-resident High Commissioner to Zimbabwe, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary, and Special Envoy as well. She served as Assistant Director in the Political Affairs Division of the Commonwealth Secretariat from 1994 to 1997. Overseas, the UN Food Agency accusing Israel of using tanks, snipers, and other weapons to fire on a crowd of Palestinians seeking food aid in what the territory's health ministry said was one of the deadliest days for aid seekers in over 21 months of war. The World Food Program, in a statement Sunday, condemned the violence that erupted in northern Gaza as Palestinians tried to reach a convoy of trucks carrying food. The health ministry in Gaza said at least 80 people were killed in the incident. The Israeli military said it fired warning shots to remove an immediate threat, but has questioned the death toll reported by the Palestinians. The accusation by a major aid agency that has had generally good working relations with Israel builds on descriptions by witnesses and others who said that Israel opened fire on the crowd. Russia unleashed one of its largest aerial assaults on Ukraine in recent months, only hours before the UK and Germany are to chair a meeting to discuss U.S. President Donald Trump's plans for NATO allies to provide Ukraine with weapons. The attack killed 2 people and wounded 15, including a 12-year-old, according to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. In one district in Kyiv, a drone struck the entrance to a subway station where people had taken cover. Videos posted on social media showed the station platform engulfed by smoke with dozens of people inside. Kyiv's mayor said the station had to be ventilated in what he called an enhanced mode. The heavy strikes hit another district in Kyiv where a kindergarten, supermarket, and a warehouse all caught fire. The French foreign minister arrived in Kyiv on Monday and visited some of the damage. The hours-long drone and missile assault on Kyiv overnight into Monday underscored the urgency of Ukraine's need for further Western military aid, especially in air defense, a week after Trump said deliveries would arrive in Ukraine within days. And Venezuela's released 10 jailed U.S. citizens and permanent residents in exchange for getting home. Scores of migrants deported by the United States to El Salvador months ago under the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. The complex 3-country arrangement represents a diplomatic achievement for Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and helps U.S. President Donald Trump in his goal of bringing home Americans jailed abroad and land Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele, a swap that he proposed months ago. Bukele said El Salvador had handed over all the Venezuelan nationals in its custody. Maduro described Friday as a day of blessings and good news for Venezuela. He called it, quote, the perfect day for Venezuela. Central to the deal are more than 250 Venezuelan migrants freed by El Salvador, which in March agreed to a $6 million payment from the Trump administration to house them in its notorious prison. And some sports brought to you by Kalik. The Bahamas' 14 and under and 18 and under girls softball teams fought valiantly but fell short in pool play of the 25 Pony International Softball World Series. In Texas over the weekend, the 14 and under team finished with a 1-4-1 win-loss draw record in Pool 2 standings. The team had a tough battle in their matchup against the Mercenaries on Friday, falling 8-6 in a tightly contested game. The group returned to play against NTX Premier Unlimited and were defeated 12-2. Playing as the third seed, the team went down 4-0 against the second seeded team from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And in their final matchup of the competition, the team lost 7-2 against Rujita Sonoro. The 18 under team picked up 2 wins in Pool 2, finishing with a 2-5-0 record. The 18 under group was overwhelmed by Glory Atkins, 8-3 on Friday, 8-3. They earned their first victory of the competition with an 11-3 win over Fuego LTX. You can read more about how it went in today's Guardian Sports section. Famed NBA professional player Valdez Vijay Edgecombe is already turning heads in his play in the NBA Summer League, and he has big plans with the Philadelphia 76ers for the upcoming 2025-26 season. 76ers guard spoke with ESPN over the weekend, outlining his expectations and how it felt to be selected by his current team, calling it amazing. Read more on that in today's Guardian Sports section. And after a series of subpar performances in races in which he didn't finish, Stephen Gardner appeared to be getting back on track at least, winning the men's 400 meters at the 2025 5th annual PVA High Performance Track and Field Meet in Maryland over the weekend. The former world and Olympic champion clocked a modest 45.68 seconds to win that event comfortably on Saturday. American Jared Gentles was a distant second at 46.33. The 29-year-old Gardner is still significantly off peak form when he was consistently under 44 seconds, but still has about 2 months to go before the Tokyo World Championships. He's yet to qualify for the World Championships, but still has the Nationals to look forward to. And it was the clergy over the politicians at the Peace on the Streets Basketball Classic. The clergy coming from behind to win 42-39 last night. And sports brought to you by Kalik and Pop the Top. Back and bigger than ever. Kalik, the beer of the Bahamas, giving away up to $200,000 in cash and prizes. Purchase your favorite Kalik beer and look under the cap. You could be a winner. Free Kalik beer, free merch, or cold hard cash could be yours just for drinking Kalik. Kalik reminds you to drink responsibly. Got your first look at weather for today. We've got a weak ridge of high pressure across the area. That's going to continue to generate gentle to moderate breezes across the islands, while an elongated mid to upper level low east of the archipelago could trigger some occasional passing showers or isolated thunderstorms. So that upper-level disturbance will gradually drift into the islands over the next few days, and that's going to introduce more cloudiness and increasingly unstable conditions or at least until midweek. By Thursday, high pressure is going to build over the area, extending a ridge across the islands, accompanied by Saharan dust, and that's going to reestablish a more stable condition, more stable pattern heading into the weekend. UV, and heat indices are expected to be high again today. Keep that in mind, and there remains a slight to moderate risk of rip currents affecting eastern and Atlantic-facing beaches of the southeast Bahamas. Beachgoers should be exercising caution. So for today, across the northern and northwest Bahamas, we're expecting a mix of sun and clouds, becoming fair tonight, a 10 to 20% chance of isolated showers. Wind southeasterly at 10 knots or less, falling light and variable at times for the northern islands, east to southeast at 10 knots, falling light and variable at times for the rest of the northwest Bahamas. For the central and southeastern islands, partly cloudy today, a 20% chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms. Winds easterly at 10 to 15 knots. Across all areas, we're looking at highs around 92, 93 Fahrenheit, 34 Celsius. The heat index will make you feel like it's 104 Fahrenheit, 40 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to a very warm 80, 81 Fahrenheit, about 27 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have more on your extended outlook and a look at the tropics coming up in just a bit.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or are tech troubles simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
As a healthcare professional, you dedicate your life to caring for others. But even with the best care, legal challenges can arise. Protect your practice and your peace of mind with medical malpractice insurance from Star General. At Star General, we've partnered with Lloyd's of London to bring you comprehensive professional liability insurance designed specifically for those consulting or practicing privately. Visit our website today so you can focus on what you do best, caring for your patients, while we take care of the rest. Star General, insurance made simple.
Don't be left in the dark this hurricane season. Total Services Bahamas, your authorized distributor for Rolco, is ready to install and service a top-quality generator that will power your entire home, keep your lights on, your refrigerator cooling, and your house nice and cozy. When the lights go out, you don't have to. Total Services is here to ensure your comfort and safety this hurricane season and beyond. Complete generator solutions from installation to convenient rentals. Total Services Bahamas, number 98 Thompson Boulevard. Call 323-0400 or 1, or visit the website at totalservicesbahamas.com.
At Cleveland Clinic, care is everything. So when your primary purpose is to care for the world, you'd start with your community until you're accessible anywhere. You make complexities your specialties and put compassion before anything else. All to redefine what's possible. For everyone, everywhere. For every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic.
Pop the top with collect, check your cap at 700. 200,000 in cash and prizes, with winners on different islands. Collect! Pop the top with collect, check your cap at 700. You could win free bears, take a sip, and collect merchandise, matter say. I pop mine at Marigal, I pop mine at Homecoming, look with free bears at Abaco and just check your cap. Collect! Pop the top with collect. Check your cap at 700. You could win free bears, take a sip and collect merchandise. Mother says. Drink responsibly, boy.
Nassau, it's that time again. The Ministry of Tourism, Investment and Aviation presents Bahamas Gourmet Summer 2025. And it all goes down Friday, July 25th on Bay Street. All roads lead downtown Nassau. Friday, July 25th, 12 noon to midnight. Featuring Fan Short, Shine 242, KB, all backed by the Rhythm Man. Also a Chippy Gourmet Rush Out. Friday, July 25th on Bay Street.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
We're back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. DeAndre Cartwright is off today. This morning, we're going to get a preview of the Marlin Awards. That's coming up. And later, we're going to be diving deeper into that global school report that reveals so much about what our young people are dealing with, facing the many challenges they are trying to navigate. And a lot of it not pretty at all. Not pretty at all. But we're going to get into that this morning. That's all ahead. But let's talk about what else is in the news. And in the news, just a lot of sad news over the weekend. We heard of the passing of Missouri Sherman Peter, the Bahamian diplomat, the just fantastic Bahamian ambassador who served the country for so long. Just a wonderful, wonderful person. We had her on the show at least one time, but have known her for a long time, and very sad to hear of her passing in New York on Friday. And condolences to her and to all of her family and friends and everybody who knew her. And that's a big loss for the country. Also, my dear friend lost her mother, who was a big fan of Guardian Radio. She called the shows quite often, especially in the afternoon. I think she loved Zhivargo Lang. Nurse Willamay Virginia Smith passed away, and really sorry to hear that, and condolences to Cherie and the entire family. We're going to miss her voice. We're going to miss her calling into the shows in the afternoon. All right, so a big headline, the NASA Guardian Darville Defense Hospital Project. This is back and forth. Dr. Dwayne Sands has been hitting out at this for a long time. Darville defending the project. You can read all about that today. Also, did you watch it last night? The Peace in the Streets basketball classic, the clergy versus the politicians game. It looked for a bit that this was going to be the first win for the for the politicians, but the clergy came from behind. I guess their prayers were answered, and the final score 42 for the clergy to 39 for the politicians. The politicians, Clay Sweeting, one of the all-stars on that team, really, really doing very well. He could, if the politician thing doesn't work out, he might be able to do basketball. He's that good. And Leonardo Lightborn, who was on the show, also pretty good for the politicians. The clergy, they got a very deep bench there. So, but that was an exciting thing to watch. And congratulations to Peace on the Streets again. That's the 30th. It's the 30th anniversary, and some pretty decent things they're doing there. The thing we want to talk about this morning, though, is Junkanoo. And we got word on Friday that there was a contentious meeting on Thursday night, and now things look up in the air as to whether the JCNP is going to be the sole authority managing the parades in New Providence, or whether something different is going to happen. We're getting just pieces of information here, there. There is an article in the paper today. We're going to read that in a bit. But take a listen to this. This was a report we had on late Friday from our Charlene Ferguson.
Chairman of the Junkanoo Corporation of New Providence, Dion Miller, concedes they met yesterday with government officials to discuss new legislation that will impact their industry. But he is rejecting rumors that this government is trying to disband or sideline their group and take over full responsibility for the annual parades. Miller did not share details of that proposed bill, but he told Guardian Radio right now they are cooperating with government in that effort.
We had a meeting last night. We're working on some legislation with the government, and so we were reviewing that. But that has nothing to do with disbanding or anything about with the JCMP. The government cannot disband, disrupt, or break up the JCMP. The JCMP is an independent body. As far as the government can disband what the government hasn't put together. So that is accurate, and we could reach out to the minister and have that.
Guardian Radio understands his government is drafting a Junkanoo authority bill. We're still working to confirm the details of its provisions with the Attorney General and Culture Minister. Miller is confident Junkanoo groups will remain united in deciding on what terms they participate in those parades.
The Junkanoo groups are formed together. We each reserve the right to participate how we want to participate. So no one can force Junkanoo groups to do anything. There will be no Junkanoo.
He believes mischief makers within one disgruntled Junkanoo group are trying to stoke division again. Former JCNP Chairman Silbert Ferguson, who was at that meeting with government officials last evening, told us that he has heard the rumor. Whatever plans it wants, it still does not own any Junkanoo groups. He suggested the JCNP is drafting a rebuttal to government's proposed bill, and everyone will know how they feel about that next week.
Okay, Charlene Ferguson with that report there. The government does not own any Junkanoo groups. Okay. Hey, so let's read this article that's in the Tribune today. So it says that a draft bill proposing the creation of a national Junkanoo authority to oversee all Junkanoo parades nationwide is receiving mixed reactions within the Junkanoo community, with some groups rejecting the move and others withholding judgment pending further details. If enacted, the bill would strip the Junkanoo Corporation of New Providence, the JCNP, of its sole authority over parades in the capital, placing responsibility instead in the hands of a new independent body. It's a little bit different from what you heard just now, right? So it goes on to say that while the new bill has not yet been made public, it was presented last week during a closed-door meeting with key stakeholders. Chairman of the National Junkanoo Committee, the NJC, Warren Andrew Pinder, insisted the proposal is not intended to sideline the JCNP or any groups, but to open new pathways for growth, funding, and wider cultural engagement. He said the authority would oversee Junkanoo nationwide with a model similar to last year's Grand Bahama event, which paired a parade with a concert to create a festival atmosphere. That format, he said, could be replicated across the Family Islands. According to Pinder, the authority would comprise 15 members from a range of sectors, including the JCNP, the orange economy, It's very vague, sure. Tourism, law enforcement, Family Island Junkanoo groups, and others. So Pinder said, quote, it's not in any which way, what? I think they're trying to say it's not in any way intended to kill the JCNP. It's an independent body that at the end of the day, it's a win for everybody. The proposed shift would formally assign parade management to the new authority and include Junior Junkanoo. Pinder said the bill aims to decentralize Junkanoo and offer tourists access to parades outside the December season and beyond New Providence. He also noted that the authority could help secure funding for operational and prize money needs, easing the burden long carried by the government. Well, not everyone is convinced. Chairman of One Family Steering Committee, Vernon Roll, questioned the government's motive and expressed concern that the bill could be an attempt to strong-arm the JCNP. He also argued that the JCNP still holds the loyalty of group leaders, suggesting a government-controlled authority would lead to ongoing conflict. He said, quote, even if you have the authority and you still have the JCNP, the chairman and the leaders of these junkanoo groups will still be loyal and committed to the JCNP. So it will be a tug of war because the authority becomes a government agency like the NJC. He said he needs more information before taking it from sense, but called for the government to leave the JCNP in charge. Well, some see potential in the proposed changes. PR Director for Genesis, Angelique McKay, saying the group has not yet taken a formal position, but would support any initiative that modernizes and strengthens Junkanoo. She said, quote, one of the things with Genesis organization is that we are the warhawks of change, so any chance that moves Junkanoo in a positive direction, we stand behind it. Okay. Meanwhile, leader of the world-famous Valley Boys, Brian Adderley, said the group has not received a copy of the draft and cannot issue a definitive position. However, he said they would back any measure that protects the independence and cultural integrity of Junkanoo, saying, quote, we continue to support the Junkanoo Corporation of New Providence as the body representing all registered Junkanoo groups in New Providence. JCNP declined to comment to them, but as you heard, they spoke to us on Friday. Okay, let's get your reaction to all this, folks. What's going on here? I think no one's going to deny that there needs to be some tweaks to the parades, especially after last season. But what form should that take? Let's hear from you. 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us 242-300-5720 toll free in the Family Islands. And tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. Let's hear from all of you. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
Nice up this morning. And my blessed Bahamas and my baby people who I love dearly. Dwight, I want you to listen to me and listen to me carefully. Okay? I spent over $10 million in Junkanoo teaching. I retired now for a little while. And all the Junkanoo who come on my university, we're strong. We are not like these weak union leaders. They shut the country down. Now, if you all fool the Junkanoo, you all politicians, please leave us alone because you all can't do nothing like this country. You all family, then find love us, got this country. Mess right up. Now, if you all want to vote the Junkanoo, see it will be any Junkanoo coming this year coming. Back in the day, Dwight, in the late 70s, 80s, all them gang war, we solved the poor people. Wasn't no politician, no police, no Costa Rica, no boy. We see none of these people. We spend our money, sponsor basketball teams, sponsor softball teams. These people trade. Leave us alone, man. Why do you think people don't leave us alone? Andrew, and you know better than that, Andrew. Andrew, you know better than that. Beyond Miller Jr., you are well trained. You came out of my camp, you go, sleep up on the floor, learning this Junkanoo. We spend money, I'm talking money, and the government don't give us nothing. The Bahamas is the only country in the world where people wake and don't get nothing back. Look like when they do bad things in this country, corrupt things, they get rewarded. Leave us Junkanoo alone. We are not like the big union leaders. We will shut the country down to the bridge, the dock, the airport. Nothing will come in this country. We sub our train for going to school. Leave us alone, Dwight. That's what I got to say. That's all warning.
Okay. That's a lot. That's a lot. Let's hear what you have to say. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, cousin Dwight. How you doing?
Hi. Good morning.
This is not Grammy Boy this morning, but I using my Junkanoo name.
Oh.
Chief Stinking Goatskin. Okay?
That's your Junkanoo name?
Well, I got several. I
Okay.
am the person with the most alias in Junkanoo because of the type of costumes that I bring every year. Depending on what you like, you call me. Some call me the Tin Man. Some call me Bob Marley and the various names. But see, I must respectfully disagree with the kind of attitude JJ have this morning.
That was very intense.
That is where the problem is in this situation. Grammy Boy, Chief Stinging Goatskin, to tell you the truth, that is what I am built on. Grammy say, tell the truth. I can tell you what the problem is. The Junkanoo Association or the JCMP was formed 21 years ago. It was basically handled by the then Prime Minister, Perry Gladstone Christie. He allowed them to get it together. It was his baby, and he did it to take some of the load off the NJC, because the NJC ran all of the parades in the Bahamas. And you know, when anybody runs something, it can always be problems. So the JCMP was formed. Now, I got to give them their credit. For the first roughly 15 years, the JCMP did a remarkable job. I ain't going to tell you no lie, because running those parades and putting them together, easy, Dwight. But still, we had problems. Okay? We had problems. Where the JCMP gone wrong, some of the people they put there lately confused the fact that they were an autonomous organization. We know what autonomous means. Autonomous means the government that issue you your license. To be autonomous, allow you free will of your organization. As long as it does not conflict with state laws. See, this is where they get mixed up. Because they get too big for their britches, they was making mistakes and doing things contrary to the Constitution, disenfranchising behemoths, like what they did with the Valley Boys last year, and making all kind of rules that was ultra-virus to our Constitution, and turn around, like JJ say, and threaten the government with boycott. Now, you know what a black eye that would have been with the international and local community and what kind of money Dwight that translate into with all those hotels that were booked, all those travel agents abroad that say, well, the Bahamas have a Junkanoo, we can send you there if you ain't know where to go. All the rental car companies and the local family islanders and stuff that participate in this thing. You know what a black eye that was could be, right? And all because the JCNP gone rogue.
Yeah.
So I don't blame Philip Brave Davis and the Attorney General. They had to do something about that, because you hear what JJ saying. Oh, he shut the country down. For what? For something simple that could be ironed out at the table with sensible people.
By any chance,
I don't
were
blame
you
the government for taking it back and leaving the JCNP over there?
By any chance, were you there on Thursday night?
No, I don't attend the meeting. I'm not one of the board members, but I am an active participant. And if the government wants to take it over, the government have to make it much more attractive, because Junkanoo really ain't where it's supposed to be in this nation. And I think they're going to do that tomorrow. They're having a meeting with the Junkanoo leaders. You see, and the D-average, Dwight, is the cause for a lot of this.
Oh, boy.
Because a lot of those leaders are following the chairman of the JCNP because they are ill-informed. They are ill-informed. That man get up on national radio. He just said 3 days ago he can boycott again like JJ. What you want Brave to do if you would say that?
Okay.
You tell me. And then he also stand on your radio station, Junkanoo Talks, and the rest of them radio station. He don't care what decision the court make in the Valley Boy situation. Nobody can tell him nothing. They make their own rules. That's where they confuse autonomy. Their autonomous rule.
This is gonna be a lot. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Boy, lots of tough talk hair already. We got a lot of your text messages. We'll get to those in a bit, but let's take some more calls. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
Is
just me this morning. Yeah, just me. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Dwight. I think what I'm hearing as a Bahamian who I'm not a immersed participant in the Junkanoo culture. I'm pretty much one of those Bahamians who are more of a spectator than a Junkanoo. Obviously, what I'm hearing is there are two factions in the attempt to move whatever they're trying to move forward as it relates to legislation. And the two main factions are the government and the existing JCPN. Is that correct to say?
There could be more for all we know, but yeah, at least. Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think on the outside of the government as an entity and the JCPN is also
JCNP.
JCPNP, which one of them has the overall support of the major Junkanoo groups. I think where the problem is it sounds to me from the little that is being put out, when you were reading, some of it sounded a bit vague in terms of the statement from the...
I think we'll know more tomorrow. We'll know more tomorrow.
Right, hopefully. In its preliminary stages, it sounds as if there was an inability, and I wouldn't say that there was not an attempt, there was an inability to arrive at a healthy and satisfactory consensus with the necessary faction, being the current management group, the majority of Junkanooers, and also the government. And I believe that before the government moved forward, from what I'm understanding now, I believe that more discussion and more collaboration is necessary. And obviously, from what we know on Junkanoo, it's not going to be an easy process. Everyone's not going to be happy, but it does sound to me like much more collaboration needs to take place before they can put anything on paper and in law.
Yeah, we'll see. Thank you very much. Okay, so some interesting things are coming out, right? So we know that there are the Valley Boys issue revealed a lot of apparent challenges within the JCNP, but people were complaining about the parades. This is outside of whatever is going on behind the scenes with the groups. Just the order, the structure, the way the whole parades have been run, and that's been going on for many years, right? So we tried this before where we had somebody produce the parades. I think it had some, mixed results, but if we continue on that path, perhaps we would have gotten it right. And it sounds like that's what the government is trying to do, because people complained a lot, you remember, about Boxing Day and New Year's, and just how I think some were saying it was dull, it was flat, it wasn't exciting, the usual stuff that you hear, the lag between the groups and nothing was going on, people were bored and sleepy and blah, blah, blah. And so something needs to be done with that. Now, if it's two different organizations, one that gets the groups where they need to be and organized and all that stuff behind the scenes, and is that going to be the JCNP, and is something else, another authority, going to manage the actual parade and what it looks like to spectators and getting people excited about it? Maybe it shouldn't be the JCNP. I don't know. It's two different things. And perhaps that is what the government's looking at. Perhaps, based on what we read about what they're talking about, concert and all that stuff. And that wouldn't necessarily fall on the JCNP. It probably shouldn't, right? So maybe both can coexist. Is that what's going on here? Hopefully we'll know what the plan is tomorrow. All right, let's read some of your text messages. You can continue to call, though. This person says here, so this is something we read earlier in the news. So they're saying, how come the media and the courts can disclose the money that a family won in a lawsuit, but can't disclose what the police and other politicians, the thing you're trying to say, received in their matters? Well, those They go on to say, we were told that if this could expose them to crime, like theft and robbery. So who has more protection, the police, politicians, or ordinary citizens? It's not the media. This is yes, sometimes the courts and what if they settle behind closed doors, then it wouldn't necessarily be made public, right? But I hear you. Obviously, you know the answer to your questions, but no, it's not the media that decides that stuff. We all want to know. This person says here, I'm appealing to all Junkanoo groups. Don't listen to these corrupt politicians. We own it. And by the way, it'll be no Junkanoo if these if they go ahead with what they're doing. I guess that the politicians rush. A lot of people would turn up to see that, though. You know, quite a few, more than you think. But anyway, I hear you. Why does it seem like the PLP is behind dismantling this organization out of spitefulness? That's how it seems to you? Oh, okay. Another text here. At the risk of sounding disenfranchised, our education, healthcare, national security, and many other systems are severely compromised. Some would say irreparably so. Lately, the world has been bombarded with stories of Bahamian rapists and killers, corrupt senior police and immigration officers, questionable wheeling and dealing with other countries. Pardon some of us who would rather the government address the previously mentioned greater transparency, freedom of information, and more accountability. This is a distraction. Well, they've employed the cabinet alone is gigantic, and they've employed many people and tons of consultants, lots of money being spent on salaries, so they should be able to do all of these things and address all of them. So I don't know if it's a distraction. This is what we're focusing on today. We talk about all those other things all the time, but they can do all, and they should be able to address all. All right, so let's not give them a pass on anything. On anything at all. Let's take another call. Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How are you?
Doing well.
Yeah, Dwight, you know something? I look at all this situation with this Junkanoo thing. Basically, what the courts should have done in the beginning, before all this name change and this one called this way and whatever, I would have just made a ruling to set the elections. Normally, when unions have dispute or whatever, the judge, we got to set a date for elections. And I think that's what the judge really should have done. You go into all this back and forth. We set the date for the election, that's the problem, and then whoever the winner is, then that's it. But we I don't know what's going on in this country. Why we got to mix up things, you know, just make a ruling, force them to have the election, call it a day.
Well, I don't think
all this thing is just a bunch of mix-up, and I'm very surprised at the ruling, whoever the judge was. I would have dealt with this by forcing them to have an election and kill it.
I don't think you can do that. And they're not a union.
In the labor movement.
Yeah, they're not a union.
No, I'm saying to you, the judge has the power. I'm telling you what I know, my experience. They have a power to resolve any matter in this country, either union or Junkanoo. They have them. They could do it. I'm telling you, in my experience. And I don't know why it went down this road. If I was a judge, this matter would already been resolved. Very simple.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Well, that's interesting. Well, I think the country would revolt, because if the judge would exercise that much power in a Junkanoo matter, but would allow so many other crazy things to be happening in this country and not do anything about it, I think that wouldn't go over very well. I don't know why you're bringing that up. This is not what this is about. This is about the Junkanoo parades. You think it has something to do with that Valley Boy situation? Well, okay, that's interesting. Let's take another call. Good morning, you're on the air. Hi. Wait, Stinking Goatskin is calling us back?
Yeah, what is that with Bahamians, right? Bahamians don't listen. They just like they got the average really is a serious thing. Now we talking about what's going on, and he talking about judges and stuff like that. This thing got out of hand. Say the government, they talking about gave them this and that. You know, I know PLD. I ain't caping for prayer, but the truth is the truth. Last year, when this thing kicked up, went beyond, and the JCMP made a determination that one Valley Boy could rush and one can't, in lieu without proper paperwork. What is that called in law? Like discrimination, right? You can't let Dwight do something as a behemoth that Chief Stinking Ghostskin can't do, and Chief Stinking Ghostskin can't qualify people with.
You sure? There's tons of that happening. There's tons of that happening in the country.
Exactly, and that's what happened last year. Dion took it upon himself to say, Brian, because I know you, face value, not doing the job you're supposed to do, check the application properly. I can bring you in.
But let's not.
Trevor David,
let's not relitigate this. Pardon the
But when I got to somebody saying people, but you have to, because they don't understand. They can call the show and say things like what that last caller was saying. The judge, you can imagine the judge trying to force you to marry somebody that you don't want to marry. You cannot do that. Now the government, the cake for the government. What the government did last year, and the minister did brave and those, they said, listen to JCNP, allow both groups to rush until they sorted their name thing in the court. The JCNP took it upon themselves to make a decision on a name which they had no jurisdiction. That's why the name is in the court now, and that's where all this mess come up. And because they made the mess, they try to cast the blame on the government and say we ain't have no junk on that, all kind of other things start spinning off like that is not so. We got to take our hands on the side and see what the truth is. The Trevor faction to this point, Bahamas, has basically won all of their cases. Now, here you talk about, you gotta go find your own name, not realizing that it may not have been the Trevor faction. So let's stop the speculation and the emotions, and let's go with what is in law.
Yeah, and don't go yet. I mean, it's already been decided that both will rush, right? Isn't that correct?
Well, both will rush based on one carrier. That the one that calls themselves World, because the Registrar General and everybody has done their due diligence and found out that they made an error, that the Trevor faction was the one to register first.
Okay, let me ask you, I want to get away from the Valley Boys thing really quickly since we have you back with us. If what the government's proposing is what I kind of got from that article, that perhaps it's about the management of the parades and the behind-the-scenes stuff can still be the JCNP, but just how this looks and how we get people excited about Junkanoo again, perhaps that should be in the hands of something else. Would you be opposed to that?
No. And I can give the blame if people are not example of experience with the JCNP that they know. The JCNP takes over the registration of the. Hold on, right? Gee. What is that? Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Right.
Hey.
The JCNP, according to Section 4 of 2016 agreement between the JCNP and the Bahamas government, Section 4 says the JCNP will accept the applications on behalf of the government because, they have a lot of other work to do, and hand the results over as to the groups that qualify to the Ministry of Youth and the Minister to make final determination. See where we going wrong? The JCNP assume that responsibility. That is left for the ministry to do. So the minister last year advocated his responsibilities, and this whole thing gone out of whack. So the government that ran the Junkanoo parades before the NJC just take it back. And let me tell you what the present chairman of the JCNP do. Last year, they were supposed to shut down 2 months before the parade and turn the parade over to the PMT. That's the parade management team. So the JCNP would have been closed. He had on his JCNP t-shirt on the parade, MP. Ringing bells for the Strachan and making decisions. That ain't supposed to be right. He called out there because I see this is no penalty parade. Oh, prodigal sons, you discharge. Music, that ain't his job. This is where it's going wrong, JJ.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate the calls this morning. All right, let's read these text messages before we go to a break. This texter here says, the JCNP has not lived up to its responsibility to Junkanoo. The organization does not sustain itself and relies almost entirely on government funding for support to support the groups. Unfortunately, it has become more of an exclusive club driven by personal interest rather than the advancement of culture. Wow. It's time for change Time to bring in new, diverse voices and leadership committed to the true development and sustainability of Junkanoo. Wow. This texter says here, the first caller is the reason why I want Junkanoo controlled by the government, because we, the public, don't take too well to Junkanoo groups threatening to shut down the country. That's insanity. I support the government takeover of the Junkanoo parade because the JCNP and their head don't know what the heck they're doing, period. Wow. Okay. Another text here. Underpinning of the new Junkanoo Authority is to move Junkanoo off Bay Street. Well, that was not going to happen. Anyway, also, when the government body ran the parades, the delays existed as well, so the idea that the government would fix a parade is silly. Government can't even do a simple account of the people's business. Well, it doesn't sound like it would be directly them, as you heard. It would be a panel, a group of folks from the orange economy. Mm-hmm. And others. This person says that I would stop rushing too if every time I rush Saxons win. Well, if the JCMP is not willing to abide by rulings from the court as alleged, then why did they engage the services of an attorney to represent them during hearing at the same courts? Acting like those who employ situation ethics, Junkanooers need to be more discerning about advice from such persons. This person says that judges only have power to them by statute, which law does the caller believe gives the court authority to force an election in a civil dispute over the Junkanoo group's leadership. I really don't understand. I really don't. I don't know what he's talking about, but anyway. Can we invite Stinking Goatskin to be a co-host one of these days? Hey, he pretty much is. GNN Grabby Boy is with us all the time. So, hey, we'll say I'm Dwight, along with soon to call in GNN Grabby Boy. This person says here, of course it does. I know what you're talking about. Of course it does. And then they go on to say, Trevor Davis now wants control of the Junkanoo parade because JCMP stopped him from doing what he wants. Oh, this is back to government owning a Junkanoo group. Is that it? Yeah. The government knows that their control of Junkanoo will have absolutely no benefit on Junkanoo. It's ridiculous. So what reason could they want control for the man behind the curtain? Huh? This is completely ridiculous. I'm tired of this Junkanoo nonsense. Yes, nonsense. It's a mess from start to finish every year. Now the Valley Boys foolishness on top of it, and every year we call it the greatest show on earth. It's not. It's a mess with some really good bright spots. Sell the rights to the Junkanoo to the cruise port, huh? And see what it will look like after. Oh boy. See, that's what happens when you're angry. Oh my goodness. This person says, I stopped going to Junkanoo because of the long wait between groups. The judging is not fair and it's boring. Yikes. So something has to be done. Clearly. And perhaps that's what this is going to attempt to fix. Perhaps. We cannot wait to hear what's going to be proposed. I'm sure many people will lose their goatskin drums and whistles over it, but we will keep you posted. Okay, we got to take a break. So all morning long, we're going to be doing songs from this group in light of recent events. You know, inspired by all the secret lovers all over the world. Enjoy Coldplay all morning long.
And so we that I'll do my best. Pray that I can lift up. Pray my brother is blessed. Praying for enough. Pray that Julia wins. Pray I judge nobody and forgive me my sins. I pray we make it. Pray my friend to pull through. Pray as I take it. Unto others I do. Praying on your love.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app. Nassau, Bahamas.
I'm Marcela Sanchez with an AP News Minute. Gaza's health ministry says it's been the deadliest day for aid seekers in over 21 months of conflict. 85 Palestinians died while looking for food. In an interview with Sky News, Save the Children's Rachel Cummings says she fears for her team and other aid workers in Gaza.
Some of my team are living in these areas and they literally have nowhere to go. There is nowhere for people to go. There is nowhere safe in Gaza for people to move to. So the situation for my team and other humanitarian workers here is absolutely desperate.
Israel's military claims it targeted groups posing threats and accused Hamas of creating chaos. Harvard University will appear in federal court today to make a case that the Trump administration illegally cut $2.6 billion from the Ivy League school. And the U.S.'s Scottie Scheffler dominated in this year's British Open for his second major title in golf this year. I'm Marcela Sanchez.
7:54, time for your first good traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. With RBC, reaching your goals happens here. In real-time traffic, right now we're seeing some heavy traffic on Milo Butler Highway, just north of the Fire Trail roundabout. If you're heading northbound, you're going to see that as you approach Harold Pond. And that's going to lead you all the way up to Tawny-Williams-Darling Highway, that slow-moving northbound traffic. Traffic is backed up a bit along Tawny-Williams-Darling Highway as well, westbound to that roundabout. Elsewhere, we've got some slow-moving traffic on Blue Hill Road near Carmichael and north of Soldier Road on the way to that roundabout with Independence Drive. Robinson Road, slow-moving as well, but definitely manageable. And pockets along the major intersections along Prince Charles Drive. That's all we're seeing so far. We'll have another update for you after the 8 o'clock news. Morning Band Traffic brought to you by RBC. With RBC, your ideas happen here. And it's time for another check of your weather, brought to you by Star General. So we've got a weak ridge of high pressure across the area. That's going to continue to generate gentle to moderate breezes across the islands, while an elongated mid to upper level low east of the archipelago will help to trigger some occasional showers or thunderstorms. That upper level disturbance is going to gradually drift into the islands over the next few days, and that's going to increase shower chances and cloudiness and unstable weather in general through to midweek. But by Thursday, some changes are coming. We're expecting a plume of Saharan dust along with high pressure to be building over the area, and that's going to reestablish a more stable pattern heading into the weekend. So for today, a mix of sun and clouds becoming fair tonight for the northern and northwest Bahamas. Partly cloudy for the central and southeastern islands. A 10 to 20% chance of isolated showers or thunderstorms today across all areas. Look for high temperatures around 92, 93 Fahrenheit, about 34 Celsius. The heat index will make it feel like it's 104 Fahrenheit, 40 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to around 79, 80 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. In your extended outlook, for tomorrow, Tuesday, partly cloudy to cloudy, a 30 to 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms for the northern and northwest Bahamas, 20 to 30% chance for the rest of the country. By Wednesday, mostly cloudy to overcast across the northern and northwest Bahamas, a mix of sun and clouds for the rest of the country, a 40 to 60% chance of showers and isolated thunderstorms in the northern and northwest Bahamas, only about a 10 to 30% chance for the central and southeastern islands. By Thursday, some changes, partly cloudy at first with gradual clearing expected throughout the northern and northwest Bahamas, partly sunny and a bit hazy during the day with that Saharan dust moving through for the central and southeast Bahamas. Friday, partly mostly sunny and a bit hazy during the day. And greatly diminished rain possibilities by the end of the week. We'll take a closer look at the tropics in our next weather check. This weather check brought to you by Star General, insurance made simple. We'll be back with more Morning Blend after these messages and the news here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
When can I open my eyes?
Not yet. Okay, open.
Do you see what I see?
It just looks like land to me.
It's our land, son. A wise investment that will grow with you.
Invest in land with CIBC Caribbean and we'll give you US $250 towards your valuation cost and 50% off your loan application fee. With CIBC Caribbean Land Financing, you can choose to build, hold, or pass on to your children. Visit CIBCCaribbean.com to learn more. Conditions apply.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, there, the Athlete's Foot, and BTC, Games and More, John Bull Fine Threads, Alive, Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's Clocks and Island Lock, Starbucks and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
Get ready to catch the thrill and win with Shell. Fuel up with $20 or more and unlock your shot at unforgettable prizes.
We're talking regatta trips to Exuma and Harbor Island.
Free fuel, grocery vouchers, water park passes, and more. Just snap your receipt and WhatsApp it to us at 242-422-0271. The vibes are high, the prizes are hot, and the summer is yours to win with Shell. Only at participating Shell stations in Nassau. Now through August 22nd. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. It's Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
Been through low, been through sunshine, been through snow. All the colors of the weather. We've been through high, every corner of the sky. And still we're holding on together. And you got whether it rains or pours, I'm all yours. You've got all my love. Whether it rains, it remains. You've got all my love.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with you on this Monday morning, and we're playing Coldplay all morning. Why not? Why not, right? All right, so we are talking about what's in the news. Coming up in a few minutes, so we'll get a preview of the Marlin Awards. We've got a big weekend of events planned, and we'll get all the details about that. And later in business, we are talking with health and education officials about the findings of the Global School Health Report that really surprised a lot of people about what our young folks are dealing with on a daily basis here in the country. We're going to get into that. That's all ahead. But we continue with what's in the news. We've been talking about Junkanoo and draft proposal for the creation of a National Junkanoo Authority to oversee Junkanoo parades, getting some interesting reaction from the Junkanoo groups and the JCNP. They are wondering what their role is going to be after this, if this were to come into effect, and why it's necessary. And we're going to hopefully learn more about that this week. But we've been getting your initial reaction to this. You can continue to to call us about that and talk about it. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. There is another story, though, that's caught my eye. This one's in the Tribune today. So, the story says, Pintard called vindictive as Wells rejected as candidate. The Free National Movement has rejected former MP Renwick Wells as its Bamboo Town candidate, as expected to choose former Senator Heather Hunt instead. Decisions that have sparked fierce backlash from the constituency association, which accuses party leadership of punishing supporters of former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis. Members of the Bamboo Town branch say they were misled into believing Wells, who served as MP from 2012 to 2021, would be renominated. They have vowed not to support Ms. Hunt's candidacy. The FNM's decision, which has not yet been formally announced by the party, followed a heated closed-door meeting on Friday between party leader Michael Pintard and association members. Tensions flared, with some calling Pintard, quote, vindictive and hateful, and others walking out telling the Tribune the meeting wasn't making any sense. Wells served as MP for Bamboo Town, first under the Christie administration as a PLP. He later served as Minister of Transport, then Minister of Health under the Minnis administration as an FNM. Wells was one of the most prominent FNM members to publicly support Dr. Minnis' leadership bid in the party's last convention. He has reportedly been a visible figure in the constituency since his defeat in 2021 and has expressed interest in running again, telling the Tribune earlier this year, quote, "At the end of the day, I am to be judged by my history and the work I would have done as MP." Well, Association Chairwoman Monique Seymour said the group has repeatedly submitted formal endorsements for Wells, including a June email obtained by the Tribune, saying that, quote, "I am pleased to report on behalf of all of the executive of the FNM Bamboo Town Association that we remain supportive," I guess they're trying to say, of Renwick Wells as a candidate. But apparently they got no response. According to Seymour, Pintard cited Wells' health and his failure to support the current leadership team as reasons for the rejection. However, she believes the real motive was political. Well, that is political if you say his decision not to support the rejection. That's the very definition of, right? No? Anyway, saying, quote, "They say the association bullying them by telling them who we want, but they are bullying me and my association by telling us who they want. We will not be walking for Heather Hunt. We will not, because what they did was a slap in the face." Other executives have also declared that they will not support any candidate besides Wells, accusing Pintard of misleading the constituency. Saying, quote, "We've been campaigning, buying groceries," oh boy, "giving people light assistance." Now, does that mean just very basic, or there be electricity? Okay. Electricity, I suspect. Okay, sure. This is what they do, eh? But saying, quote, "But Pintard, he's saying that from the convention he told us that he would not support Wells, so why would we campaign for the last 4 years thinking Wells was getting it?" This is the story. I don't know if it's so I find it hilarious, but maybe other folks aren't going to take it as such. Wells reportedly submitted a letter from an American doctor clearing him to run. American doctor. But the party still declined his nomination. He declined to comment when contacted by the Tribune over the weekend. Executives have also questioned how Hunt was chosen over a former MP. Hunt never won anything. This is a quote. "Hunt never won anything in her life." Wow. "And they want to put Heather Hunt against a giant of a man." According to Seymour, the man won under the PLP and the FNM, and he lost because of a wave in the last election. You think so? And stood on the ground for 4 years. The controversy adds to ongoing tensions between the party's leadership and several constituency branches. The FNM's Killarney and South Beach associations have both raised objections to recent candidate selections. And last month, the ratification of Jeremy Sweeting in Central and South Abaco led to the resignation of local chairman Roscoe Thompson. FNM Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands denied claims of political targeting, saying the candidate selection process has been objective and thorough. He insisted no one is being punished for past affiliations, saying, quote, there were no foregone conclusions with any aspiring candidates. There is no spite. There is no victimization. He acknowledged the disappointment within some branches, but maintained the leadership's authority in candidate selections and decisions, saying, quote, I understand there will be disappointed persons, but I believe that Michael Pintard has demonstrated a phenomenal degree of patience and a phenomenal degree of resilience in the face of blistering, inappropriate criticism. Wow. Okay. Let's get your reaction to this, folks. This is, Yeah, okay. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. And I want to hear what you have to say about this. And I mean, wow, nobody can diss a candidate more than the people from your own party when they don't get the one they want, right? Because I don't even know if the people in another party would say that about the person who's eventually chosen over the one. Anyway, it's just wild. But let's hear from you. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, Dwight. The FNM, man, like as a former FNM, right? And what I seen in this country, right? I mean, with the FNM, it's so sad to see where the FNM is at this point, man. You know, in an election year, right? They still stuck. When you have divisions and when you have when you segregate people them and you name and you label people them as this one or that one, the FNM is always supposed to be just the FNM. It's never supposed to be an Ingram FNM or a Menace FNM or a Pentad FNM, right? And the same thing you see. The same thing you are seeing take place inside the PLB, where you see right now there's a Brave Davis.
I was going to say that to you because I think they have it as well. They
that's
do.
What I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. It's a Brave Davis PLP today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not. I mean, you can understand it though, right? I mean,
yeah, but
leaders will have their way of doing things.
You could do that, right? But what you should not do, right? You shouldn't be seen to do that, right? It could be a Brave Davis or Michael Pintard's FNM, right, or whatever, right? But that shouldn't be the label. The label still should be one party. Despite I know I have my close people around me, right? But when you can make that when you can show that, right? You can hide feelings. You know, you can hide a lot of feelings, and this is and we need a little bit more maturity inside our political arena, man. You know, and Dwight, I hope you might be interested. Maybe the Guardian, the housing one, you know, this leadership, what you call it, man. You know, where the leaders them or people who are advocating to be leaders, right? We can have a debate, man. You know, so that we can have a clearer understanding if these leaders who we are planning to elect have a really serious interest in the Bahamian people, man. Have a nice day.
Yeah, thanks a lot. The media is always interested in that. It's the politicians who have the issue, right? It seems to be it would be easier for me to organize a debate with me and Donald Trump than to have one with the leaders of Bahamian political parties all in one room. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, Dwight, you really couldn't have said better. It might probably be easier.
I think it would.
For you to get in a meeting with Donald Trump.
You better believe it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you know, what we're looking at is something that's similar all around the world. I think they call it the deep state. It's kind of hard to define what that is. but I expect that to be a group of persons who actually have control over a particular party, simply because they may be the ones who are raising as more funds. You know, if I'm bringing in $2 million every election campaign to a particular party, I probably have a say as to who's going to be running in certain constituencies. I don't know if this is the situation here. But the previous caller mentioned something that's systemic in both parties that we really need to get rid of, because it discourages people to vote when I'm being told it's a menace party, it's a other person party. It shouldn't be that way. It should be all about what the people desire, and the candidates should be going there to fulfill the promises that they made to the people.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting. Wells says he should be judged on his history. Again, he was a PLP. He was a different party, at least one other party before that, and then he became an F&M. And some of the things that happened under his time, left turn on red, which in theory is a wonderful thing, but it has brought nothing but chaos and madness to our streets. He was the minister responsible at the time. And yet, boy, is that a relief? Is that a good thing that's happened? And then, of course, the local government for New Providence thing. He was the minister at the time. And where are we with that now?
Yeah,
I don't know. People are going on feelings and some weird emotions, not on record and not on what you've done in the past. And I think that seriously needs to change.
Well,
needs to change here.
Do you think, Dwight, based on his current medical experience, it's a wise idea to put him through that stress of the campaign and all that?
Hey, I don't know. We've had people who've had serious issues and they've come back and done all manner of things. So I wouldn't hold that against him. But record is a different story. And I don't know. I know thank you very much. I know it's a cabinet and they all make decisions, but a lot of things were supposed to be done, especially with the left turn on red. That we're supposed to have signs up, and that has not happened. Still hasn't happened. So even the ministers who followed all need to take some major blame for that as well. That entire ministry needs to take blame for this chaos, but that's insane. And yet here we are again, 2025, so many years later, and still no one even seems to be. It only comes up during election time, local government for New Providence. They all say we need it, it's a good thing, but when the ball's in their court. Let's take another call, and you can continue to call in 323-6232. 325-4316, 325-4259, toll free 242-300-5720. But hey, we'll see if you are that beloved. Run as an independent. We keep saying it. Run as an independent. This could be. Who knows? We could have a repeat of 67. It could be so close that you could be a tiebreaker. You could be a game changer. You could negotiate yourself right into the prime ministership. Who knows? Caller, what say you? Good morning. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Hi.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning. Good morning.
Hi.
Hope all is well.
Yes.
Morning, Seymour here, the chairman for the Bamboo Town Association.
Oh, hi.
Hi. It's just overwhelming. Friday was just like a slap in the face. It was just so hard on Friday. It was just a unanimously support for Mr. Wells. We were on the ground campaigning. The persons in Bamboo Town that we were receiving, everybody just was wanting Mr. Wells and, just thanking him for staying the constituency since the Lord. And then we had a closed-door meeting. And there was pushed down our throats that you will be accepting who we said. And then I sent an email to Dr. Sands. I CC it to the leader, the deputy leader, Dwight Sawyer. I just CC'd a letter to a couple of persons who's supposed to be in the higher area of the party. And, to no response. Then they want to have a closed-door meeting on us.
Did they give you a reason? What are some of the reasons they've given as to why?
First of all, they said, help. But how could you help when Mr. Wells came home? He had a certified doctor's letter, not from no handwritten doctor in Nassau to say, well, I bribed or I paid for this. This letter came from the States. So that right there was, that was a lie. They tried to make their reasons sticking like how they did to South Beach.
So you wouldn't have trusted a Bahamian doctor?
Yes, I would have trusted them, but sometimes you can play doctor off.
Wow.
You all know the story. Don't act like you don't know the story.
I don't know.
But this is someone I don't know, and I got a bill of health, of good health. And come on, they did that to Mr. Wells because he was openly in support of the former prime minister.
Mm-hmm.
The Bamboo Town Association openly supported Dr. Mills. That's what the story is. They tried to get at us. But it's more than one way to skin a cat.
Oh, what does that mean? What do you mean by that?
Oh, it ain't started yet.
Okay.
The fight is not started yet.
So, Ms. Seymour, tell me why do you support Reverend Wells so much? What is it about him?
That man is a real MP. That man stood with the Bamboo Townians, as we call ourselves. As we would say, the big bamboo. That man stuck with us. He will go in support whoever he could support in the constituency, light, groceries, whatever. We were on the ground walking, and people were so overwhelming, receiving this man, And then what made the matter so worse, the leader got up and said, I told you guys, I was never going to run Mr. Wells. I almost lost a screw. And it was about 15 of us, and the 15 of us as executives jumped up and said, you are a liar, you never told it. And he looked like he was like, Lord, that man lies. So you think we want something like that for the Prime Minister? He lied to the association. What do you think he will do to us as the Bahamian people?
All right, so for folks listening who aren't affiliated with any parties, but they hear you talking like this, and they're like, well, this is not going to be good for the FNM at all come the general election. When you're airing all of this out in the public for everyone to hear and see, what do you say to that?
Oh, if you cut me, I would have bleed FNM. But right now, I have no. The party has gone down to level zero. The MCMs are not even standing up. This is what hurt me. The MCMs are not standing up to know right from wrong. They're letting this man give them spit to drink and tell them it's red wine. They're just spitting in everybody's mouth and say, drink it. It's red wine. No. Bamboo Town will not be bullied. Like the leader said, we will not bully them to tell them who we want. They will give us who they want. No. But Bamboo Town Association will not be bullied from the FNM nor the leaders to say who they want. I will not walk.
So,
and 80% of the association will walk. The other day, they had a closed-door meeting I didn't even know about it as a chairman, was trying to bring back the old association. See, I know the skullduggery from then. They tried to bring back the old association, had a private meeting at Cleveland Indian School. Bamboo Town has never had a meeting to Cleveland Indian School. And when somebody called me and hit me off, oh my God, it was war. I went there out of breath. And let me tell you something. Everybody vanished away. He was trying skullduggery from then. And the person who was there, I couldn't really believe to see some of the MCMs and person who's supposed to be coordinators, indulging in foolishness.
Wow.
Knowing well what they had planned.
So
I think they made an AWS out of the association.
Okay.
But since they did that to us, I will make an AWS out of the FNM.
Oh, boy. So should Wells run as an independent if he doesn't get the nomination? Or what are you all suggesting? What do you think he should do?
He's affiliated to the FNM, and he stands by that.
Well, he's been with other parties before, so it won't be hard for him
to... he's an FNM. Mm-hmm. But from the get-go, when I saw little things happening, I said, Mr. Wells, let's stop wearing these red shirts and let's walk independent. He said, no, Monique, we're going to walk as an association. We are a branded FNM association. We will walk. He said, until that day, if I am not given the nomination, I will think of something else.
Okay.
But we would have been much further than what we are now if he had listened to me and let's move forward.
Okay.
I just have a discernment and I can see things. Oh, yeah, I advance sometimes, a lot of times. But the discernment was there for me. And I was explaining to them day in and day out. When I have executive meetings, I talk, I speak. And let me tell you something,
tell.
executives were meeting often. We were meeting often. Mr. Wells' headquarters has never closed.
Okay, we gotta. Let me get your number. I'm gonna put you on to our producer. We'll get your number so we can talk some more. Monique Seymour.
And thanks for listening in to me.
Thank you. The Bambootown Association chairperson, Monique Seymour. Wow, that's interesting stuff going on there. Wow. Okay, let's take this final call here, and we got to go to a break. But wow. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Dwight, good morning again.
Hi.
Fascinating set of details in the last 10 minutes. I just a couple of things. One quickly is this is not the first time we've had this conversation about candidate selection within this particular political party. There seems to be a pattern here. The constituency seems to, as I understand, in the South Beach area, because there was one similar scenario, the constituents expressing a specific preference, and then a party overriding and putting in their particular person. Just two questions I have. One is, it will be interesting for us to get our hands on a written set of rules, laws or bylaws as to what governs the candidate selection process. Because at this particular point, I'm extremely curious to understand how they go about it. Secondly, I'm no political scientist, but it does seem to me that this is another shooting yourself in the foot scenario, because the small committee who pushes the candidates, they don't vote. It's the constituency that vote. So why would you give the constituency what you want and not what they want? That sounds like a bad political strategy to me. But it'll be interesting to get our hands on what the laws and the bylaws or policies are for candidate selection, because there's a lot of confusion here. Thanks,
okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Okay. The thing is, I think everybody's using different yardsticks to measure people, and I think that's a challenge. Some folks are looking at some things very differently from others, and not everyone's going to understand. There's a whole bunch of people, but nobody cares about me personally, but a whole bunch of people who are running who, in my opinion, shouldn't be running based on their record, things they've done when they were in the cabinet or with other parties before, whatever, right? But obviously a lot of people aren't bringing that up. Nobody cares, it seems. I mentioned some things earlier. Nobody's mentioned any of that. But they're looking at things in a different way. Often it is emotion based on, I don't know what you did one time 10 years ago, or I know you long time, or you used to do this back then. I don't know. But so when you have that, you're going to have this type of confusion. And we will never fully understand. But some of the things John mentioned, yeah, that will be helpful. But do they care? Do they care? We got to go to a break. We're gonna watch this. We're gonna continue to watch this. There's going to be a lot more of this. We're told the FNM is going to be introducing more candidates shortly, and I'm sure this is not going to be the last time. We've already heard this with Killarney, and now this. Not going to be the last time you hear this type of talk, and probably even with the other parties as well. But it's certainly not going to be dull, and that is pretty cool. We'll be back, though. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Sometimes I just can't take it. Sometimes I just can't take it, and it isn't alright. I'm not gonna make it, and I think my shoes untied. I'm like a broken record. I'm like a broken record, and I'm not playing right. Just cynical, how about you kill me till you tell me on the heavenly phone. So hold tight, come on, come on, oh, come on, don't let go. Hold tight, oh, it's alright, you said. I got my hands up shaking just to let you know that you've got a higher power Got me singing every second, dancing every hour. Oh yeah, you've got a higher power, and she really someone I wanna know. Oh. This boy is electric. This boy is electric, and you're sparkling like the universe connected. I'm buzzing night after night after night. This joy is electric. This joy is electric, and you're circuiting through. I'm so happy that I'm alive. Happy I'm alive at the same time as you.
Are you dreaming of a brighter future? The answer is right beneath your feet. Buying land is a wise investment. You can build a home, hold it as collateral, or pass it on to your children. And with CIBC Caribbean, buying land is a bold move you can make right now. CIBC Caribbean is giving you US $250 towards your valuation cost and 50% off your loan application fee. Visit CIBCCaribbean.com for more details. CIBC Caribbean terms and conditions apply.
Shop early to get your uniforms and catch Janae's Uniform Center's buy 4 get 1 free sale. Free monogrammed and regular school shirts, dry fit and cotton polos, jumpers, skirts, boys long and short pants, PE shorts, underclothes, tights, socks, neckties, belts, sleeping mats, hair accessories and character work desk. Get 50% off backpacks, lunch bags and raincoats. Buy 4 school shirts, get 1 free. Buy 2 skirts, jumpers or pants, get the third 50% off. Need embroidery and monogramming done? Visit Janae's Uniform Center early. Beat the back to school rush. Janae's Chesapeake Road back to school special. Restrictions apply.
Tell them.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Don't shop at Sherwin-Williams then. Don't get the best service in the Bahamas then.
The love is really, really strong in Sherwin-Williams. We don't just sell paint. We service you with a smile, good hearts, mind, soul, and body. And we love our customers as much as we love ourselves.
Yes, real talk.
I'm not just saying this
Real talk.
to impress myself.
We love to go beyond with customer service. So they feel delighted to come in Sherwin-Williams because they know I can either see Dee Dee, or I can see Shelly, or one of our other wonderful staff members. We treat our customers with the respect of our boss because there are many paint companies they could choose to go to. No, baby. If they go to some other paint companies, so I'm gonna get this little thing at the end of the week.
We want to make sure you get that little ting, Shelley. Come visit Shelley and Dee Dee at Sherwin-Williams Bahamas, and you'll surely find colour in every day.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice. It's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the Know-How team at 396-1101.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
Join the celebration for sizzling summer savings as BWF celebrates its 53rd anniversary with up to 50% off Monday, July 21st through Friday, July 25th, and blowout 10 sales Saturday, July 26th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Beat the heat with amazing deals, red hot prices plus cool savings. Don't miss your chance to save big this summer with BWF up to 50% off 53rd anniversary sale Monday, July 21st through Friday, July 25th, and blowout 10 sales Saturday, July July 26, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Save on appliances, hand and power tools, generators, compressors and water pumps, welding supplies, automotive hardware supplies, lawn and garden supplies, kitchen and outdoor supplies, cooking supplies, barbecue grills, household supplies, bedding and bath supplies, junk canoe and craft supplies, floral decor, and so much more. BWF, we are more than just our name. Number 13 Wilton Street, telephone 394-0004 or 6. Check us out on Facebook. We ship to the Family Islands.
Nassau, it's that time again! The Ministry of Tourism, Investment and Aviation presents Bahamas Gourmet Summer 2025. And it all goes down Friday, July 25th on Bay Street. All roads lead downtown Nassau. Friday, July 25th, 12 noon to midnight. Featuring Van Short, Shine 242, KB, all backed by the Rhythm Band. Also a Chimney Gourmet Rush Out. Friday, July 25th on Bay Street.
With RBC, your idea of loving every journey happens now. Free up cash with affordable auto financing from RBC. With competitive rates and no bank fees, it's the perfect time to make every journey something special. Apply now to pre-qualify in 60 seconds at rbc.com/auto loan to shop with confidence. Conditions apply. RBC, your idea of loving your journey happens here.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I've got your final look at weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Here's what's happening. So we've got a weak ridge of high pressure across the area. That's going to continue to support some gentle breezes, while an elongated mid to upper level low just east of the islands, well, that's going to trigger some occasional showers and isolated thunderstorms. So the upper level disturbance is going to gradually shift over the Bahamas over the next few days, and that's going to introduce moisture, cloudiness, and increasingly unstable conditions through to about midweek. Then by Thursday, high pressure is going to build over the area, accompanied by an inbound Saharan dust plume, and that's going to reduce shower chances and produce more stable conditions heading into the weekend. For today, though, we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds for the northern and northwest Bahamas, partly cloudy conditions for the central and southeastern islands. Only about a 10 to 20% chance of isolated showers. But high temperature is going to be near 93 Fahrenheit, 34 Celsius, and the heat index will make it feel like it's 104 Fahrenheit, 40 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 80, 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. In your extended outlook, we're going to be seeing more rain heading into the middle of the week, as we said. So 30 to 40% chance of widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms for the northern and northwest Bahamas tomorrow under partly cloudy to cloudy skies. Wednesday, mostly cloudy and overcast across the northern and northwest Bahamas, a mix of sun and clouds elsewhere. Still a 40 to 60% chance of widely scattered showers for the northern islands. By Thursday, some improvements, partly cloudy at first with gradual clearing throughout the day, and only about a 20% chance of showers for the northern and northwest Bahamas. And partly to mostly sunny, a bit hazy Friday into Saturday for most of the country. In the tropics, we are watching showers and thunderstorms associated with a small area of low pressure about 900 miles east-southeast of the Lesser Antilles. And environmental conditions are generally favorable right now for some additional development over the next day or so, while that system moves west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. By the middle of the week, environmental conditions are expected to become less favorable for further development. So through the next 7 days, it only has about a 20% chance for development. Elsewhere, tropical cyclone formation not expected during the next 7 days. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Are your walls giving a major L? Well, time to fix that at your nearest Sherwin-Williams paint store. They've got vibrant colors delivered with professional vibes. Done listening? We'll start glistening with Sherwin-Williams paints. We got your final look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. With RBC, reaching your goals happens here. Right now, we are seeing some slow-moving traffic on West Bay Street. If you're just east of Arawak, heading eastbound, you're going to be seeing that near Nassau Street and just east of that area as you get closer to Marlborough Street. And a bit of slow-moving traffic around Saunders Beach and the New Providence Highway roundabout. Milo Butler Highway still busy for you if you're heading northbound and getting closer to Tonic Williams Darling Highway, and traffic backed up a bit along Tonic Williams Darling Highway westbound as well. Wolf Road seeing some heavy traffic in pockets, mainly westbound, and East Street north and south of the Soldier Road intersection seeing some slow-moving northbound traffic. Soldier Road is busy for you right now north of the Prince Charles Robinson Road intersection, and at the intersection with Wolf, Bernard, and Village Roads, you're going to be seeing some slow-moving traffic there as well. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. With RBC, your ideas happen here. And we are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan and the Marlins Awards coming up. We've got a big weekend ahead here to tell us all about this. Very pleased to have back with us Kevin Harris, and from Voices of Praise, Edison Sumner. Gentlemen, great to have you with us. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, so Kevin, I mean, I think everybody knows this is your 29th anniversary now, right? Congratulations on that. So most people should know what the Marlin Awards are all about, but for the few who might not be familiar, let folks know what we're doing here.
Well, thank you and good morning, and thank you for the opportunity, Dwight. 29, well, maybe 30 years ago, it was around 1995.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Los Angeles. We were working on a record for Motown at the time, and this idea came to me about creating something in the Bahamas to honor Bahamian gospel music at that time. And so we came back home after my group, System 3, were touring, doing recording, started working on the first Marlin Awards. Mm-hmm. And so we decided on the date of the 16th of March, 1996, would be the launch date. And thanks to the late Barry Farrington and Debbie Bartlett, who really helped us to facilitate the Atlantis Theater being the venue, we launched the first Marlin Awards that year.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a vision to expand it to the Caribbean. And so we hosted it as the Bahamian Gospel Music Marlin Awards for the first 4 years. And in the year 2000, we opened it up to other Caribbean islands.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the year 2002, we fully integrated and changed the name, rebranded as the Caribbean Gospel Music Marlin Awards.
Yeah.
So that's been our journey. And so from then, it's just been building. And we're pleased that the Bahamas continues to remain the host country, really the production center. Most of it takes place here. Most of it is produced by Bahamians. But we're so pleased to have some of our brothers and sisters from around the region who have now joined us in helping to pull this off every year. And so here we are 29 years later with a great track record and a lot of great people we've been able to help over the years.
That's amazing. I've always been curious about this, though, so you can explain it. Why the decision to expand it to the rest of the Caribbean?
Because we really felt, but these things called vision, right? You kind of think about how can you help Bahamians and the Bahamas in particular to really, for the word, global branding was even synonymous at that time. But the idea was, how can we get more of our local artists, more opportunities? One of those ideas was we need to participate as a community, right? We've had the CARICOM, which deals with things on the political level in terms of integration of leaders and ideas. Why not? We have CARIFTA that does the same thing in terms of athletics, bringing the Caribbean together.
Mm-hmm.
What about music? And so this was an opportunity to do that. Let's get our Bahamian artists in the room with other top artists and producers and other executives in the region and in the Commonwealth, because we also include the UK in this. We also include Africa. And we've also been blessed to have parts of South America.
Okay, excellent. So you've got a big weekend coming up. It's a number of days. Tell us what we can expect.
Not a problem.
Each day this week.
When we first started, Dwight, we used to just have that one Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
It became so big because people started making the investment to come to the Bahamas, to be a part of it. So we felt that we needed to create more opportunity for things for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
So then it became Marlin Weekend. And so this coming year, we will start on Friday, on the 25th. That's this coming Friday, with what we call Marlin Youth Fest and Concert. Now, this is new. We've always had a Marlin concert. But this year, the focus is really on young people. So we're launching the Marlin Youth Fest and Concert for the first time this coming Friday, and that's July 25th, right at the Diplomat Center, beginning at 7 p.m. sharp. It is going to be a time of great music, great fun, but we really want it to be a time of encouraging young people and really inspiring them to greatness. And so this is going to be a wonderful opportunity for a lot of our local gospel artists who will be joined by some of our friends that are flying in, just to be a blessing and share some words of hope and inspiration to our young people. That's on Friday.
And how much is it to attend, and how do you get tickets?
The ticket cost is very affordable. We just made it at $10 general, $15 at the door, and you can get them right now from 3 locations, and that's Logos Bookstore, Harbor Bay, the Oasis Bookstore at the Diplomat Center, and All Seasons in the Palmdale Shopping Plaza. But we've also done something really, really awesome as well for kids who are 12 and under. It's just $5 at the door.
Mm-hmm.
Persons who have youth groups or youth organizations, we've kept it at $5, 10 or more. This isn't about a money-making thing for this. This is really getting the kids in the room for the summer, giving them a great opportunity to be inspired and motivated and challenged.
Excellent.
All right?
So that's Friday.
That's Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, we decided that we wanted to educate. So we have a industry seminar and a luncheon, and that gives some of our local and our regional partners an opportunity to share their wealth of knowledge about the music business and music ministry. There are a lot of young people coming up in music, and they don't know what to do, where to go, and how to really thrive. So some of our great friends are coming in from Trinidad. We've got Noel Robinson coming in from the UK. He's been around for quite a while, very big established in the London area. We've got Sharon. She's coming in from Canada. She's a major booking agent and manager out of Canada, And then, of course, we've got several other friends who are coming in from some parts of the region, San Diego, and, of course, in Trinidad. And they're coming to share on several different topics that relate to the music industry, about distribution, about publishing, and everything that our local artists will need to know. How do you really get your music out? One of the sessions will deal with AI and how that integrates with what we do now with music. We're also going to talk about income. How do you get major revenue streams from your music? That's going to be one of the other key topics. And so that's at the Diplomat Center on Saturday, this coming Saturday, July 26th. We start 8 a.m. registration, 9 a.m. session starts, lunch is at 1, and panel discussion is going to be at 2 p.m.
Okay.
And that's a $50 fee, and we're doing it, again, affordable, and that includes your lunch. And so we want folks to not have to think about coming out. Be out there, register, and I'll give you the website at the end, how you can just simply send us a note and register for that. And then
But don't just show up for that one. You need to register.
You should register because it's limited seating for that one. And we can only hold so many for the seminar, unfortunately.
Right.
And so we are asking our local artists, be first. The persons who are flying in, quite a bit of them are flying in. They're already registering for the seminar, all right, because there's only so many seats for that. And then on Sunday, Dwight is our big boy. We end with the hosting of the 29th anniversary Marlin Awards ceremony. That's also at the Diplomat Center. We start at 6 p.m. for that particular event, and it's a dress-up night. We want you to come dress right up, have fun. We want you to come to support, in particular, our local nominees. All of the family members listening this morning, and pastors, if you're the employer of some of these nominees, get a ticket, come out and show them support, because one of the things, Dwight, that's going to be important is we are partnering with Caribbean Gospel TV. They're based out of Trinidad and South Carolina. They are now in about 20 markets. So this is going to be live from the Bahamas in 20 markets, all right? So when our artists take the stage and they see the Bahamas, this is great promotions for the country.
Yeah.
And so we want people to be out on Sunday night, support them, purchase tickets. Those tickets are $30 and $35 at the door. The same ticket locations apply. And we just want you to come on out again. When their names are called, even if they're just nominated, share them on. That's going to mean a lot for the people watching in all of the countries around the world.
Yeah. So everyone's going to see when Edison Sumner and Voices of Praise receive their Lifetime Achievement Award.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Congratulations. How does that feel?
It's incredible. When I got the note from Kevin Harris and the Marlon Awards, it was a bit of a surreal moment. I sent him a note back when I received the emails advising that we were receiving the Lifetime Achievement Awards, and I said this was least expected, because we don't ever do what we do for awards and rewards and recognition that way. But certainly when an organization of the magnitude of the Caribbean Gospel Music Marlon Awards, which is really our equivalent of the Grammys, right, and the Stellas and all those other things combined, we didn't take it lightly, and so I'm very, very humbled that we were selected and that we are being acknowledged, or the work that we've done over the last 3 decades is being acknowledged by the Marlon Awards. I was there at the very first Marlins, at the Atlantis Hotel. We received our first Marlon Awards at that first event.
How many do you all have now?
Only one. But I think is it just one? I'm not sure.
It could have been either one or two, but I do know that you're nominated for quite a bit this year.
Yeah, we got several nominations this year, but then we hadn't put out any recorded work for a while. We've just been doing a lot of performances, but now we're back in putting out recorded works. But the fact that we were even considered for this prestigious award is in and of itself very humbling. And we are very grateful that we were given this consideration.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to other groups who are looking at Voices of Praise and saying, we want to be like this one day?
Well, be careful what you ask for, right? Because people see the end story, but they don't see the journey to get to this point. They would not have seen the struggles in 30 years to keep a group together for 32 consecutive years. I believe that we may be the longest standing ensemble in this country who's really been together consistently for over 3 decades without a single break, right? Even when I went off to school to study, the group stayed together in my absence. So I would say, consider your purpose, understand your assignment, know what it is that you're getting into this business to do. If it is where you're thinking like us, it's all about the ministry, then you've got to understand that is what it is. If you see this being a business opportunity, I'm not sure if there's a big market for gospel music in this country to do it full time. Few people do it as musicians, and they're able to get around the circuit getting it done. Wow. But I would say understand the assignment that you're getting into, and get into this for the right reasons. For 30 years of doing this, we've made some tremendous sacrifices, financially that is. And in 30 years, we've done only 2 concerts that we've actually charged for. Every year, we do a concert that is absolutely free of charge, and it's done at the highest level of quality and presentation. And tell people, just come in. We're not going to charge you for it. We'll take an offering, which is never enough to cover your expenses, but we do it anyway because we understand our assignment. So if you want to get into this and you want to have the level of longevity that we've had, understand your assignment. Get into it for the right reasons. Surround yourself with the right people. That's extremely important because you can surround yourself with people who become vouchers at the end of the day, right? And when you do start to make some headways, you're doing some good recordings, you're perhaps making some money, then people are swooping in. And we nowadays in this industry, you make $100 and you may walk away with $2 after you're done because everyone else's hand is in your pocket, So surround yourself with the right people. To give you the proper advice on how to get things done. And then otherwise, just, work it day by day. This doesn't come easy and it doesn't come overnight, but we do it because we love what we do. We understand why we're doing this. And because of that, we are hardly ever disappointed, and when we show up to do something, to perform somewhere, we always come well prepared. We don't just come fly by night and just throw something together. So you must understand that your presentation is also very important and that goes with your legacy.
Well, amazing what you've done so far, and wishing you much continued success and maybe another 30 years at least, right?
By then, my son and his kids and his other friends will be doing this, taking over the next generation of what we do. And I'm actually looking forward to that.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, so congratulations again, Edison Sumner and Voices of Praise.
Thank
so
you.
what else can we expect Sunday night, Kevin Harris?
Well, basically on Sunday night, it's going to be a tremendous demonstration of both Bahamian and Caribbean culture in terms of gospel music. And again, we will be pausing to honor Edison Sumner and Voices of Praise with their Lifetime Achievement Award. But we're really looking forward to the entire weekend being a great networking opportunity, Dwight. And that's why I want to, again, appeal to all of our local nominees. And even if you're a local gospel artist, or even if you're a non-gospel artist, you're certainly welcome. And it is an opportunity to come shake some hands, meet people. Dwight, that's how I made it in the music industry. Late pastor Dr. Miles Renaud taught me those lessons. When I was being managed by somebody in Los Angeles, she said to me one day, this business is about 3 words: relationships, relationship, relationship.
Wow.
So I encourage our artists who are listening, parents and others, let them come out and encourage them to come, shake those hands, meet these people. Dwight, we have the first flight touchdown on Wednesday for the Trinidad with the first load. We've got a second load on Thursday, which is London, Canada, and others who are flying in. Friday, it's crazy. People are buying into this.
Mm-hmm.
It's from the Bahamas. It's a Bahamian product, and we're really pleased that they have really come in to bless our country and to spend some money here in our country as well.
Yeah.
And so thank you for the opportunity, and we're looking forward to a fantastic time, really, this coming weekend.
Really quickly, again, give us the website and where you can find out more about what's happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Not a problem. Again, let me just give you a quick schedule, and I'll end with the website. On Friday, we kick off with the Marlin Youth Fest and Concert, BFM. That starts at 7 p.m. sharp. Tickets, again, $10 in advance, $15 at the door. Get them at your bookstores, Logos, Oasis, and the Diplomat Center, and, of course, in the Pounder Shopping Plaza with All Seasons. That's on Friday. Saturday is the workshop and luncheon. Diplomat as well. Be there. We start at 9 o'clock in the morning. Make sure you get your tickets. Those are $50. Come and get those on site. Get in there to learn something from these key industry professionals. We wrap up on Sunday with the Marlin Awards. That takes place at 6 p.m. It's a dress-up night. Come celebrate these artisans, our great Bahamian gospel artists. Let's chat them on. Tickets are $30 in advance, $35 at the door, at the same ticket locations I mentioned. And our website is simply www.marlinawards.com. All of the information we've discussed this morning is on that website. You can take your time, check it out, and make sure to be a part of it. And our email is simply marlinawards@gmail.com.
Okay, wonderful stuff. Congratulations and good luck to all the nominees. Again, congratulations, Voices of Praise.
Thank you.
And Edison Sumner and Kevin Harris. Keep up
Yes.
the great work. I
Thank
guess
you.
we'll talk soon for the 30th, the big anniversary.
That's right.
in a year.
That's right.
Good stuff again. Thank
Appreciate
you
it,
very much.
Dwight. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, we're going to break for news. When we come back, we are talking about that global school health report with officials from the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education. You don't want to miss it. Stay with us. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
You try to rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Don't be left in the dark this hurricane season. Total Services Bahamas, your authorized distributor for Rolco, is ready to install and service a top-quality generator that will power your entire home, keep your lights on, your refrigerator cooling, and your house nice and cozy. When the lights go out, you don't have to. Total Services is here to ensure your comfort and safety this hurricane season and beyond. Complete generator solutions from installation to convenient rentals. Total Services Bahamas, number 98 Thompson Boulevard. Call 323-0400 or 1, or visit the website at totalservicesbahamas.com.
Is your business ready for the next big step? More inventory, new equipment, a larger space? At Fidelity, we offer commercial loans tailored to suit your business's needs. Inquire today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Monday, July 21st, 2025. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan, and this morning it's part of our twice monthly series with the Department of Public Health, and we are very pleased to have with us this morning the Director of Public Health, Dr. Philip Swan, and Director of Education, Dominique McCartney-Russell. Good morning. Great to have you both back with us and together. It's quite an honor. But we are talking about the Global School Health Report and some of the findings revealed a few months back shocked a lot of people in the country. So we know that we're dealing with a lot of issues with our young people. But we want to get just a little bit of background about the survey and how long we've been doing this now before we get deeper into some of the findings.
So the Global School Health Survey is a global survey we put together by WHO and PAHO, assisted by PAHO on this side. It's fairly expensive to administer, and what it seeks to do is to find an idea or give an idea to what's happening with the health of children in schools. Initially it was between age 13 and 15, and now it's 13 and 17. And as I mentioned, standardized questionnaires to give countries an understanding as to what are some of the health challenges that the adolescents and teenagers are dealing with, but as well as the standardized because across countries now can compare what's happening across the world and are there need for global policies that are required. Mm-hmm. We would have done our last survey, I think, in 2013, and before that it was 2003. It's, again, fairly expensive to administer, and so you will see around the world that a lot of countries have not actually done one in about 15, 20 years because of the costs associated with it. But we were able to find the funding and get the approval and support to do it this time around. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because it's a wider grouping that we're looking at this time. It's 13 to 15 the last time, now it's 13 to 17. Right. And so you'll have more information and some things to consider.
Yeah. So you're averaging about every 10 years or so.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be every 3 to 5 years.
It's supposed to be every 3 to 5.
Yes, but 10 years is what we're averaging at this point in time.
All right. So, and that age group, why that age group? What's the significance of that age group?
Well, I think that's the age group where you have a lot of the transitional challenges with children, but transitioning from children to adults. I said to someone earlier today, that's the period, if you could recall back when today you're treated as a child, tomorrow you're treated as an adult. And so it really has the body's going through changes, you're going through developing habits, and it's really giving the country some ideas. So what are some of the challenges that this group of individuals are having navigating this period? What are some policies you can put in place to ensure that they successfully navigate and become productive citizens?
Right. So some of the things that people were concerned about, the numbers when it relates to suicide, drug and alcohol abuse, and other forms of abuse. But I'm just curious. Are the findings very different from what we saw back in 2013 or 2003?
In 2013, I think we had the same numbers as persons who would have, quote unquote, attempted suicide. But then you also need to look at the fact that we are in a different era globally as well, and the social media is there. And so you take a look at what's happening around the world. I was mentioning that there is another country, similar small island development state, similar size, similar distribution of persons, 20% of as well, or 1 in 5. And then it's one of our neighbors in the country, in the Caribbean actually, that's 1 in 4. So, the reality is this is something that's happening globally. How do we fix it? How do we put things in place to address it? And I think not just look at what is the result or what we're finding now, but what are some of the things that head into it. And so we're having a conversation, of course, we are good partners in education to make sure that we're on the same page. Mm-hmm. But then even as we have a conversation with education, who is our public sector partner, we need to consider that the survey is not just public schools. It's public and private schools. Mm-hmm. So you have to find a way to make sure that the things that we're putting in place in the public sector also translates to the private sector, or that they have access to these things, as well as we have the ability to support them in the way that we would like to. Because again, public sector, private sector, they're all our children, they're all our future.
Yeah. And so drug and sexual activity numbers would have been similar as well?
But there was no separation. I mean, back then.
Back then.
I think that the sexual activity, one thing that showed up in this was that there's the debut of sexual activity is lesser now than it was then. I think back then it was 9, 12, now it's 13, 15. So you have that kind of, at least that positive move. But the more or less the things are as bad, quote unquote, or in some cases worse. Right. But I think, as you were mentioning, some of in your conversations and discourses, we knew some of these things were happening, quote unquote, knew anecdotally, and now this data does help us to figure out how can we specifically and intentionally deal with these matters, get the type of support that we need in addressing them, but as well as have the ability to go back in the future and say, okay, these are things we put in place, this is what worked, this is what didn't work, and then when we do the survey again, we can see exactly where did the needle move based on the interventions that we would have done.
Yeah. Dominique McCartney, Russell, Dr. Swan mentioned it. He heard this on the show, talking about this, a lot of this stuff happening 20 years ago, 30 years ago when we were young. It seems in many regards we are changing, perhaps as we get the start of sexual activity, but otherwise we're in the same position we were before. What are we doing about this? And so that in 10 years we aren't still talking like this.
Yeah. Well, one of the first things we did, we were quite proactive, simply because, we also collect data. We collect incident reports on accidents, infractions by students. And so for us, our data is collected on a monthly basis by our district superintendents and our principals. And that is collected at the ministry level. And we look at that data to advance on policies. And so one of the first things that we would have done was first to increase our guidance counselors, the staffing. We sought to ensure that at the end of the day, all of our schools have the the professionals in place. And of course, where there were no guidance counselors for our smaller schools, we have the district counselors, and so they are able to service those students. And so one of the things that our guidance counselors do, they have guidance counseling classes, and they engage our students. We also have counseling. They also respond to crises. We have seminars for boys and girls. We actually separate the boys and the girls so that we could, look at the issues from a gender perspective. And those counselors are responsible for providing conflict resolution strategies. They are responsible for providing from anger management and certainly looking at drug addiction and the other vices. Our counselors are also responsible for career counseling. So they provide support for students at all levels. We also sought, though, to look at, how students learn, and we have engaged with the University of the Bahamas, led by Shivago Lang. We have a study ongoing, and though we know there are seminal studies that speak to, how children learn and what are the factors that influence their socialization, we wanted to contextualize it to the Bahamian ecosystem. And so the initial reports indicate, we have to focus on student motivation. We need to look at how students learn and how they are socialized. We also need to ensure that we strengthen the link between the home, the community, and the school, because the report indicated that the parental support is vital to student achievement. And so we're looking into those areas. We're also conducting a reform of our curriculum. We're addressing the way boys learn, the way girls learn, so that the experiences in the classroom are exactly that, experiential. Students prefer hands-on, more active learning as opposed to passive learning. And you may ask, well, how does that support mental health? But, we want students to want to come to school. So student motivation, we have to focus on how they are engaged. And so we're focusing on how do we engage our students through the professional development of our teachers, our administrators, and certainly of our counselors. We're also focused on enrichment activities. Students are coming from varied backgrounds. However, we don't we know that they have some issues in terms of some of them in terms of their homes. So we're seeking to provide a holistic education. So our focus is on curriculum reform. So you will see, for example, more enrichment programs. We have a number of organizations that support us, Rotary and Key Club, Junior Achievement, those types of activities. Our goal is to ensure that every single one of those 40,000 children are involved in at least one co-curricular or extracurricular enrichment activity, because the studies also show that when students are engaged in that way, they are less likely to show antisocial but more pro-social behavior. And so that's one of the focus.
Is that mandated now?
It's not mandatory yet, only because we still have some gaps. We have organizations that assist certain schools, but there are some schools where there are gaps. We actually have mentors. Let's say a child presents with antisocial behavior. Our Refocus program allows for mentors to go into those school environments and to check up on those students, to meet with them on a consistent basis, so that the behavior that they presented, it's less of. And so we have mentors. The problem is we have some gaps. We want, at the end of the day, to address all of the gaps, because we're seeking, as I indicated, to provide a holistic education. That means that we're providing scaffolds around our students so that wherever the need is, wherever the interests are, we are meeting those needs, and we are also meeting the interests. We have focus groups with our students. So, they tell us, Ms. Russell, listen, you all have a lot of programs in schools, but what about when we go home? What about in the community?
So there you go. You mentioned home a number of times, and I'm saying this is all well and good, but it's the home, though. Primarily with the issues that you're seeing here in the report, these are issues that started in the home or are being reinforced when they go back home, even after all the great stuff you're doing at school. What can you do to counter
Well,
What's happening there?
That's one of the reasons why we believe that a multi-sectorial approach is so important. Ministry of Health, Social Services, all of our partners, Red Cross, you name it, every Bahamian, all hands on deck. We have actually created a parental engagement unit 2 years ago for that exact purpose, to support parents, to serve as a one-stop shop for training. And I know we have other organizations that provide training, but we provide training for our parents, particularly for students who are at risk. We also ensure that they have access to their children's educational information, attendance, grades. We ensure that they have access to the school administrators and teachers. And of course, we support them for if they have needs. We may connect them.
Of the parents seem interested, though?
To be quite honest with you, we have 40% of our parents who actively engage in a PTA meeting. And so that's why we created the PEU, and we are also now looking at the national PTAs. We're seeking to create a national PTA that allows those parents who, they serve well and they are the ones who become the presidents, that they help to create that buy-in and help us to address where there are shortages in parental involvement.
Oh. All right. So were there specific issues in the report that really stuck out to you, that had you very concerned?
I'm very concerned about the attempted suicidal rate. Mental health is key to education. You can't get an education, a quality education, if you are depressed or you feel hopeless. And so, that's one of the main reasons, we ensured that we provided more guidance counselors. We participated in the Youth in Parliament, I think about 2 years ago. And I sat there. I wanted to hear from those young people. These are 17, 18-year-olds. And I charted what they talked about. And their main discussion, I think about 16 of them out of the 21 said that they wanted more mental health programs. And so we answered the call to that concern by instituting a mental health program at the school levels and certainly at the national level. And the goal, of course, is to destigmatize the mental health issue, so that people know that you can talk about it. Right. We have counselors available so that whenever there is a need. But sometimes when I look at students in high school or in junior high in particular, counselors have to develop the trust. And because sometimes our students will speak to another peer rather than speak to a counselor. And so counselors have been engaged in developing trust among our students so that they have access. We've also instituted, because counselors would have access to our students during the lunchtime, but we wanted them to enjoy the lunch, and so we have instituted that during class time, if a student needs to talk to a counselor, that they are allowed to do so. And the idea, of course, is to develop trust and is to also destigmatize that need. We want our children to have those restorative circles where they can talk to someone about what they are experiencing.
Yeah, and we know that often it's not who you think who be having the suicidal thoughts. And so some folks are saying the schools should do a better job, but you won't necessarily know.
Right. And the thing is, what we do too is we have the counseling classes, and that is so that our students develop the coping skills. Right. We have what we call a coping skills toolkit. And it's really not just for students, because we do it for our teachers as well. We have the employee assistance program for teachers and other staff members as well. And so we look at mental health from a holistic perspective for students and for staff. And so we're just there to provide students with the coping skills so that whenever there's an issue, they know how to handle those challenging or complex emotions.
Yeah. And then to address that same component, I mean, you speak about the acceptability of persons, of children going to adults, for example, for some of the challenges. And, when we were growing up a few years back, there was this peer counseling as relates to drug control. And so we've actually explored that in the education. So there is a peer mental health counseling team or grouping that is club actually that we started in some of our high schools rather in New Providence, and we're looking to strengthen that this year and expand it to some of the junior high and potentially as time goes on into some of the primary schools. And basically what it is a weekly or monthly meetings of children with the guidance counselor, but in a club setting where you now teach skills. Or what are some of the things that you have outside of the formal classroom setting? What are the challenges you have? What are the things that you're identifying? What are the challenges you're working with? How I can support or direct persons who are in my peer circle into directly to the types of supports that are available. And one of the other things we were working with was something called a mental health literacy program. And what that does is that helps the students and teachers as well as guidance counselors to be aware of one's mental health. So there's a program that we're looking to start up with education that's going to help us to address a lot of areas of health in children, but specifically there's a focus on it on mental health, and it speaks about, I think you mentioned, when you spoke earlier, Director, getting children especially to be more aware of what their mental health is, and what impacts it. What are the things that go into it, what are the things that come out of it, how you can manage it in a way that's positive. And so we talk about poetry, you talk about photography, you talk about debate clubs, writing, singing songs, etc. So these are some of the group things that schools have decided, that systems have identified as positive mental health. Does two things. It works on them, it helps to provide outlet for the mental health, as well as it builds school character and builds school fidelity, which in itself builds one's mental health, a sense of belonging. But if we go back to something else, and that you touched on when Director started, was about the society. How do we fix that aspect of it? Right. And I think that's something we have not focused on. Again, we are talking about our children. They are children at our ages. So we look at our peers, and we understand that a lot of them would have had traumatic experiences growing up. When were they addressed?
Exactly.
So those are some of the challenges that we have to figure out. How do we get our peers, those who are in the 30, 40 age group, to be mentally, 40, 50 age group.
The parents.
The parents.
Well, that was going to be my question for you. Right. So Director Russell talked about it, but what is the Department of Public Health doing to get the parents of these children?
Well, I think, as mentioned, this really is an all of society approach. So we can provide the skill sets, we can provide the technical assistance and guidance, but we need to find our partners who are going to get these persons into a space or place where they can actually listen to and absorb this information. There are many times messages go out, but we need to make sure that we partner with media to make sure that the right messages go into the right persons in a way that they will consume it. And that is one of our challenges. How do we all have the technical information, but how do we get it in a way that's consumable to the persons that need to get it? And I think that is where this multi-sector stakeholder work is going to have to really grip. Because the churches, yes, but I think most persons go to clubs. They go to, they have their own parties.
They're using substances themselves to help them with their issues.
Exactly, to cope with it. And they see it as, but I'm successful, so why it's not an issue, So why
I've made it this far.
Exactly, but not understanding that there are some hidden things some parts of our history, parts of our growing up that cause us to act a certain way, and those are. How do we mitigate, or how persons to first accept that, to be vulnerable enough to accept that, but also be there to catch them when they're in this state of vulnerability, because you don't want them to spiral into somewhere else.
And one of the other things that we're looking at too is a national campaign to look at the red flags. There are some red flags. Our children are engaged in more social media. They're not outside. They're not active as they should be. We have to look at what they're eating. We have to look at whether or not they're sleeping. You could imagine seeing a pre-primary student at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I mean dozing off. When did they go to bed? Did they go to bed at 8 p.m. the night before? And so
we're looking them on the streets at 10 p.m.
Yes,
all the
and
time.
so we're looking at red flags because we want our parents to be able to see, to observe some of the behaviors that they may see. If a child is a loner, we were meant to live in community, and it is in the community where we thrive. When we go on our own is when we have issues. And so we want to address those red flags, depressive behaviors. We want to look at, like I said, exercise, whether or not our children are active with their eating, as well as how they are being socialized. And to say to parents, this is what we would consider pro-social behavior versus anti-social behavior, or red flags that all of us as a nation need to pay attention to.
All right. When you do point out issues to the parents, are they often surprised, or what do you find?
Sometimes they are, and sometimes they're not.
Okay.
In fact, some parents have reached out to us. They need support. They come to us, and we offer the support that we have.
Yeah.
We've had a number of parents, particularly with those students who are at risk, and the students who are presenting with antisocial behavior. They may target their parents in terms of, the parent is seeking to provide discipline,
right,
and they lash out. And so those parents, definitely they reach out to us and we support them. There are a number of parents who, they're not aware. Their students, their children may behave one way at home and behave another way at school. And so we invite parents to come on the campus and see what's going on, and pay attention and be present, not just come at the report card, but come during the PTA meetings. Every now and again, sneak up on your child at school just to see what's going on. Look in the environment.
You can do that?
Not you can't sneak up on them, but you could certainly make an appointment to come into the school and to speak with those teachers.
Mm-hmm.
But we call it sneak because you don't let your child know you're coming.
Right. Yeah. We're talking with Director of Education Dominique McCartney-Russell and Director of Public Health Dr. Philip Swan. Caller, we'll get to in a second, but this texter, this came up quite a bit once the report came out. People asking about the demographics of the students in the survey. Which backgrounds were they from? Single-parent homes? Which nationality? Did it get that specific? Do you have those answers?
No, because we are a cosmopolitan country. Basically, we just went to schools that fell into the sample frame and asked them questions as was mandated by the survey.
Yeah, so it was relatively random within the age range.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight, and good morning to your guest.
Hi. Good morning.
Great. I'm so glad you're discussing this issue about our children and young people, because it's alarming. And I hear you, and I appreciate the plans that you have and what you are doing, because there are persons out there in the system who are doing the best that they can with the resources that they have to deal with the situation. But it's obvious that it's not enough, and I don't know if what you do will ever be enough, because you see the results with the survey and the teachers and persons who are affected who are involved in the lives of our students. But the parental involvement is key, and it's so important in relation to this. Do you all, as far as with the parenting classes, the parenting classes, I know you have that available, but is that on a mandatory? Does it have to get to a point where the child is like on probation or a desperate situation that parents are forced, court ordered to go to parenting classes?
So the parenting classes are, I think it's a feature of social services. And in some cases, parents are mandated by the courts to participate in those courses. The Ministry of Health, Department of Public Health, and Maternal Child Health Program does have parent craft classes, a series of 8 or 9 classes that we have with pregnant women that takes them through what to expect during pregnancy. One of the things that we do need to figure out is how do we introduce classes or online sessions or opportunities for parents to tap into when that child now gets to this age group and transition from childhood into adolescence.
I was concerned about, because as a parent, especially we have so many young parents, and you have the older parents as well, we're not equipped to identify our children with some of their, their behavior sometimes. We don't know, and we really, really need the support, and whatever that's available online would be excellent. Flyers, on ZNS or whatever, Our News, Guardian, whatever like that, advertising and putting out these things, because when a child gets in the system in a classroom, it's so difficult sometimes. The teachers, they're overwhelmed. Social services is overwhelmed with having to, even, figure out what's going on. They call in the parents or whatever. So I would like to see more programs, more assistance in reference to working with parents and the teachers as far as to identify these things, so we can get these children from primary school, ages that they can get this assistance as they, so that when they do enter junior high school, these problems, they'll be able to be aware of themselves in situations as well. And one more thing, Mr. Rector, in reference to the diet, what is being done in relation to vendors selling these junk food to these children? Because by the time as they reach the school, those persons outside the school, around surrounding the schools, is all sorts of sweets and whatever have you. And I don't know how we expect for children when they all hyped up off of those sugary things to to be able to focus in the classroom. So what is being done to even with the vendors, encouraging them to or having some sort of a rule or law that they, you can't sell these garbage. Try a healthy alternative.
Yeah.
With children. I just want to put that there. Thank you for
Let's get
taking my
them to
call.
respond. That comes up all the time. I know we've made some improvements, but where do things stand at this point?
Well, first and foremost, with the partnership of the Ministry of Health, we do have a tuck shop policy that speaks to what we serve in our tuck shops, just to look at and to deal with the obesity in our students. However, just as the caller indicated, and I really thank her first and foremost for mentioning the need for more parenting classes. So that's certainly on the agenda to provide accessible training for our parents. But when it comes to the outside vendors, now the vendors who come on the campus, we monitor them. We periodically monitor what they're serving our students. And of course, if they are in breach, they are warned. However, the ones on the outside, what we do is we have they have to be at least 100 feet away from the school. And that's as much as we were able to do.
Oh, my goodness.
You understand? And she underscored the issue. When students come in school, they've already purchased, or sometimes they save their money. They don't buy lunch because, we're offering more healthier options, and they save their money to, get the items from the outside. And so it means training for parents. Our parents need to know that when children put those sugary drinks in their body, what that does to the body. Yeah. That's the way we're going to address it. That's the only way we can address it, because those persons will always be out there. And so we have to train our parents so they know what to look for and what that does to the body. We want good fuel for the brain so that the students' cognitive development could be enhanced.
In addition to that, you look at the vendors who are outside of the schools and you have a conversation with them. But the reality is those children are walking maybe a mile, half a mile to get to school. How many food stores they're crossing, how many haberdasheries, quote unquote, mom and pop shops they're passing in order to get to school, how many fast food restaurants. Yeah. They just pop in and get whatever they need. So I think there probably needs to be more of a intentional approach visit to how do we provide food on the school campus. And have conversations with parents. You can put your money in that way, ensure the food your child is getting is going to be healthy and well for that child's growth and development. Because that is really one of the only ways for us to address it. You speak about, you always see the car parked on the side of the road, with the trunk up and all kind of stuff there. Some schools, you get breakfast, you get cereal for breakfast if you want to. But then again, if you remove that away, that's someone's income on the one hand, which has political implications from a MP perspective. And then you also have to look at the fact that if you move that car, but that food store is still That
Yeah.
fast food restaurant is still there. So where's the equity when it comes to that regard? So it's more about trying to control what our children have access to in the environments that we're able to control, and then teach them through health and family life classes what are the best choices of foods, demonstrations on campus, and there are 1 or 2 programs to work with children who are at risk as to how do you work with, and again, parents as well.
Yeah.
And then the overall, I think, the Ministry of Education said a number of times, the overall society, how do we address the issues of the cost of living, of cost of healthy foods, and healthy food alternatives.
Indeed.
And I have to say, too, that our parents, they normally obey the policies when for the students who are in pre-primary education.
Yes.
They make sure those students have healthy snacks. But as the child gets older, you start to see some things. And I remember a principal, was hard and fast. This child could not, the chips and the sugary toners, and she took it from the child, and the parent called crying because she said that was all that she had.
Oh, boy.
So it is a moral dilemma.
Yeah.
If I take this away from the child has nothing to eat. But this is the worst thing for a child to eat. But the parent says to me, this is all I have, Director Russell.
Yeah.
How do I address that? I allow that parent to give that child something to eat, because of the situation. And so it's a moral dilemma that we have to address.
So you mentioned at junior highs where you start to see these issues, and that's the same age category with the survey, right?
Right,
And
right.
This is when we have the problem. So one more call. We're running out of time. Caller, you're on the air.
Very gracious of you, brother. Guess how you doing?
Hi, doing well.
Wait a minute. I want your guests to be aware also of depression, because depression is also a silent killer and it's actually unnoticed. People actually tend to see it as sadness, but most of the time it's depression, and that's actually the second leading killing in the world nowadays, depression. And it also leads up to suicide. And second thing I want to make note of, right? Boy, back in the day for lunch, we had twist, hot party, and salty sausage and Coke soda. Boy, we used to live off that, and that used to have us running at least 12 hours. I know it was not Coke soda, but boy, that did the trick back in the day.
And that probably speaks to why we have 2/3 of our population either overweight or obese now.
Yeah.
Because those are the things that we lived, and that's
Diabetes
zero
and
diet.
hypertension.
Exactly.
So that's not a good thing. No, we don't want that to continue. No. Let's squeeze in one more. Let's see if we can do this. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning. This is Strong. Good morning to your panel.
Hi.
So very, very much needed this conversation. One of the ways I daughter about the dangers of certain high fructose corn syrup or sugary foods. There's an experiment in which mice were exposed to sugar and cocaine. And so the mice, they didn't eat the cocaine, but they actually ate themselves to death with sugar. And it showed dementia and dysfunction of cognitive skills, decline. It actually showed that. So the guy who called and talked about depression, what you have to understand is the lady mentioned exercising. That helps get rid of depression. And then we have a situation where I'm glad she mentioned the psychoanalyzation of adults, right? Which is very important. I had a friend walk up to me the other day and said he needed someone to talk to. He felt suicidal. Big man, no children. And then I'm looking also at the fact that you have sexual deviant behavior going on as young as primary school ages from grade 1 straight up. And so is there any system in place where the parents can be investigated secretly, because you have children displaying this and affecting other children as they display these behaviors to other young children who are not used to it with the backgrounds where they come from. You see what I'm saying? So that's one of the problems also, because where they're coming from, they're spreading this behavior, and that in itself can cause depression, and children come home with these conversations they won't have with their parents because they're not used to seeing these things where their homes that they are. And that's a big problem. And you could see it in the behavior as it relates to the proximity of the sugary foods in close proximity to schools. That is why education is the key. If you have footages that you can show students. That is only one example I give you. You could show them the effects of a bad diet or an impoverished diet. And now my daughter's saying, make her lunch. Give thanks.
Okay, thank you. Well, this is what we're talking about, the importance of parents. Right. Wow. Okay, so this is a whole other show, Director Russell, but this person says, given the academic studies and the benefit of single-sex schools, are you looking at this? We know this comes and goes every few years, but would that make a difference here? Are you considering this, or at least expanding classes that focus on, as you say, boys learn differently than girls often?
We do have, in fact, a few schools that have the single-sex classes. Studies show that there are some advantages, particularly for boys, in regards to engagement and enhancement. However, a female teacher is in the front of that class. So that's the problem. We did have a conversation with our school administrators, the men, and our male teachers. And the next conversation will bring in the men from society to look at how do we educate boys as compared to girls. And so we've had the initial conversation. The men said there needs to be some policy changes in regards to how we train our boys, particularly for more experiences. And the men of this country will be tasked with, how do we get more men into the classroom given our limited resources. Their way of doing it, they said, is to bring in more mentors. And these are not one-offs. Right. Mentoring has to be ongoing for the entire year. Yeah. And it's not the same way you mentor girls. Boys are mentored on the basketball court. They're mentored through hands-on activities. And so the mentors out there are saying we need more men on our campuses, more male role models. And so that's the way we're going. We're not putting our head in the sand. We're not trying to beat a dead horse in the sense that, okay, if we cannot identify more men teachers, male teachers, then perhaps we could bring men into the environment who can serve as father figures for our young men.
We had Mott Squared on last week with us, but they're saying they don't even have enough volunteers to mentor. So we've got a big problem. And again, it's the adults who are the issue, not necessarily the children. They're just mirroring the problems in our society.
I always say that. I don't believe children have changed. I believe we have changed. Adults, we have changed. Yeah. And so we need to go back to the old landmark, and we need to provide solid village support for our children.
Yeah. Final words, we've got about 30 seconds left. We heard from the Department of Education what they're going to do. What about the Department of Public Health? What can you do with the information from the survey?
So we have redoubled our efforts in partnering with Department of Education. We have found new ways and strategies to try to ensure that the work that we have identified as best practice would be successful. So there's a Healthy Schools initiative that we have visited with the department. I mentioned the Peer Mental Health Counseling Club. We also have mental health literacy that we're working on. There's a program specifically targeted at children looking at their wellness, well-being across the board. So coming into schools, providing targeted sessions on physical activity as well as nutrition guidance and working with parents to that extent. And then right now there's a program going on with Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture with education about physical activity. And several years ago, with the help of social services, we developed a wellness program from physical fitness training for children, actually everyone. Yeah. So we're also sharing that with with that grouping. So there's some guided national guidelines on physical fitness, about the 4 different levels of fitness, trying to ensure that there is a strategic way to provide children with an education and parents with an education as to how they maintain their physical fitness, which is one of the challenges that we have. Yeah. Physical activity is a challenge simply because the environment has changed. You can't let your child run outside anymore. So you have to find other ways to keep that child fit.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, the work will continue. I'm sure. Lots of work to do. You need a license to drive a car and to open a business and for a gun, but one day maybe we'll have a license for parenting. I don't know, but that's a controversial thought there.
Very much.
But what a difference it could make, possibly. Dominic McCartney-Russell and Dr. Philip Swan, thank you so much for being here. Keep up the great work that you're doing, and keep us posted. I'm sure we're going to talk soon with the school year about to start. And Dr. Swan will be talking with you very soon as well. Thank you for being here. And folks, be sure to pick up today's Nassau Guardian for the Guardian Business section for the latest in business news. Brought to you in part by CFAL, growing wealth through future generations. Tune in to CFAL Talks tonight at 6:30 p.m. right here on Guardian Radio. Everybody have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
I pray that I don't give up. I pray that I do my best. Pray that I can lift up. Pray my brother is blessed. Praying for enough. Pray that Julia wins. Pray I touch nobody and forgive me my sins. I pray we make it. Pray my friend to pull through. Pray as I take it, unto others I do. Praying on your love, we pray with every breath. Though I'm in the valley of the shadow of death. And so we pray for someone to come and show me the way. So we pray for some shelter and some...
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
With RBC, your idea of loving every journey happens now. Free up cash with affordable auto financing from RBC. With competitive rates and no bank fees, it's the perfect time to make every journey something special. Apply now to pre-qualify in 60 seconds at rbc.com/auto loan to shop with confidence. Conditions apply. RBC, your idea of loving your journey happens here.
Shell, you home? My gas just going out. Let me that small barbecue tank you have. I tell you long time, go get a barbecue tank from Caribbean Gas. They just got a new shipment of tanks of all sizes. Now you know they always have the best prices. Call them, Caribbean Gas, 361-6007 or 552-9597. You want to use my phone? Here, call them now.
Hey kids, it's back! The Jeff Rogers Summer Basketball Camp, July 28th to August 8th at the Kendall Isaacs Gym. Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. for boys and girls, 5 to 18. Pair and learn from the NBA superstars past and present, including our very own Buddy Hield of the Golden State Warriors, Klay Thompson of the Dallas Mavericks, former Laker great Michael Sweet Bells Thompson, another great among the point guards back in the day, Muggsy Bogues, and many others. Application forms now at the Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, Tonic Williams, Darling Highway. Call 341-4021 or check the website, jeffrogersbasketballcamp.com.
Only one item? Are you tired of limited choices? I'll have the one item on the menu, thank you. Wow! So many choices. Why settle for less when you deserve more? When it comes to the ways you pay, the more, the better. With a variety of payment options available, you can enjoy the freedom to choose what works best for you. Choose freedom. Choose flexibility. Choose from the full menu of payment options. The future of pay is digital.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com.